gentlemen, hello, welcome back to another episode of The Welch. With me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise, clap it up, get excited wherever you are. We're back with another action-packed show for you today, covering the world of boxing and beyond right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. We appreciate your effort, your energy, your fire, your fervor, all with us on this Thursday afternoon. We're going to have an action-packed show with you all on today. Yes, indeed. We're going to have a lot of stuff. Ray Mortala versus Andy Cruz. The fight's happening this weekend. We definitely going to have some conversation about that right here on the show, as well as with some news with Zuffa Boxing. Their debut happening, I believe, also this weekend, and the rhetoric surrounding what's going on with the Ali Act as a whole and what got passed through since you have voted on as with the House of Representatives with the bill for the Ali Act, essentially revision being pressed through. So now, what does this mean? Is it good or is it bad? And can this spell danger for the whole of the boxing regime? We're going to talk about it all right here on the show with you and so much more. And of course, the big question that we touched on kind of in the last episode, but we can talk about it more fervently on this episode. Can SHAKUR Stevenson hurt the likes of TEOFIMO Lopez? And everything we've been breaking down on this fight, I've been overlooking potentially the power that we can see Teo bring on this division at 140 against TEOFIMO Lopez. And will it be a situation that the unthinkable may just happen another time, just like we saw with Devin Haney, and SHAKUR may actually put down TEOFIMO Lopez? All of that we're going to talk about right here on this show with you today. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Come on, join the empire. Be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also, be sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. Please be sure to leave a like on the video. It helps to push this video out to the algorithms to let everybody know exactly what we got going on right here in this community. Also, if you would, please be sure to go ahead and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. You can never miss a show if you hit the notification bell so you know whenever the empire is striking back right here on this channel. And please, more importantly, please be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make this thing into one of the biggest monoliths and moguls in all of boxing and in sports media as a whole. We can't do this without you. So please, if you would, keep on sharing the show. Tell everybody that you know about what we got going on right here, and we can make this thing the best that it can be. No question about it. But like I said, with all that being said, we got an action-packed show. We got a bunch of stuff to cover. We got boxing to discuss, and we got sports to dive into. Oh, yes, indeed. So, without further ado, it's time to talk boxing. It's time to talk sports. It's time to get excited, and it is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round 1 of this show going underway. Also, please be sure to comment your thoughts and opinions down below on whatever we talk about on this show. And hey, shameless plug, while we're getting the first topic together, Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description. If you would, it would be enjoyable to help invest into this, to help it even more substantially have the capacity to grow, flourish, and shine, all with you and your support. So we can make this show bigger, better, stronger, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. Also, super chat, super gifts, all that stuff, if you can give, mean the world to me. Absolutely, I appreciate it so much. But with all that being said, hey, first topic today, can Teo knock out SHAKUR? Or rather, can SHAKUR knock out TEOFIMO Lopez? Excuse me. That's the way. Yeah, here we go. That's what I was trying to say. Can SHAKUR Stevenson knock out the likes of TEOFIMO Lopez? And it's been a topic that we had in passing discussions on this show. Like I said, we're less than 2 weeks out from one of the biggest fights to start off the entirety of this year. As I'm really quickly trying to make sure my camera is clean and pristine. But while I am cleaning, you can still hear the sound of my voice and hear the question at hand of, can the likes of SHAKUR Stevenson, can he knock him out? Can he? Legitimately can he? It's a real question. We're not just asking this just for the sake of It's a topic. Oh, wouldn't it be insane? We're asking this because there's some substance behind it. There's some concern behind it. It goes all the way back to the likes of Kambosos when TEOFIMO Lopez got knocked down, even more than the Sandro Martin type of situation, specifically with Kambosos. And one of the reasons as to why people say, or why people are latching on to the idea that, yeah, anybody who thinks that Shakur can outbox Tio, yeah, absolutely. That is a very high probability that if he does win, that's what can happen. But in the other end of the spectrum, people are coming out the woodwork saying, hey, I got Shakur stopping him. I got Shakur putting him down. I got Shakur taking him out. Full stop. Ain't going to be no end of the bell at the end of the 12th. It's going to be straight up, he puts you down. That's what some people are saying. And the reason why is because of two reasons. One of which is the fact that he entered Shakur coming up to 140. That's right, coming up to the world of Tio's domain of super lightweight. Now has the capacity to potentially, like we've seen with others, like with Boots, like with Devin Haney, have the ability to now unlock a new facet of pop and crack at their disposal in order to potentially have a more destructive flair to their style. All of a sudden, we could be seeing, we could see the likes of Shakur go from a quote-unquote boring fighter, somebody that isn't as entertaining, somebody that isn't as fervently invested from the standpoint of having people not fall asleep during your fights, as what is commonly put on Shakur's plate from the sense of how people view him as a fighter. It's not true most of the time. Some of the time it is. Most of the time it's not true, but that's the moniker. He can nix it, and not only that, he can actually put Tio potentially in a bad spot because of that added power with the ability to counter, with the frame and size that we've always said about Tio, or about Shakur, being a big kid. Yeah, okay, we can see something unlock and unravel it. But on the other end of the spectrum, looking at the chin of TEOFIMO Lopez, with Kambosos and Sandro Martin in mind, some people are saying that this ain't just a situation of, oh, Shakur is going to get bigger and stronger. Tio's been vulnerable and is still vulnerable at that same degree. You can put him down if some people are still holding on and latching onto that sentiment. Now, for me, as a mindset of whether or not this is true or not, I've been shooting this down over there ever since the fight actually got made. That, oh yeah, Shakur won't be able to knock him out. I've been shooting that down. I'll be the first one to say. I've been shooting that down. In my mindset, there's no way that Shakur is going to be able to knock him out. My mindset has been, there's no way that the likes of Shakur Stevenson will be able to bring up the power, let alone have his hands healthy enough to be able to punch and withstand the power they'll be able to bring, even if it is elevated, because we won't be able to sustain it. Again, syndromes that the same, or the same symptoms that we saw with Floyd Mayweather are now happening to Shakur Stevenson to some degree, with the brittle hands, broken hands, not being able to punch like he wants to because he is, his fists get damaged quick. I've been saying I had no inclination that would be able to happen. But as of, I'll say late yesterday, prepping for this show, looking at what I can make as content for you all to enjoy and maybe enthralled with, there might be some more validity to that statement that I may have thought, that maybe it is a more pressing reality that can occur than even I was giving it credit for. Maybe, and I'll walk through you what. The biggest thing, on top of the size is bringing in the table, is the question of, when it comes to TEOFIMO Lopez, his own chin as a responsibility of his to sustain. In terms of TEOFIMO Lopez, essentially, to put it bluntly, how great is Tio's chin going up against the likes of Shakur Stevenson at this stage in his career? Is it valid that we can say, hey, he is indeed vulnerable? Is it valid that people can say, oh, yeah, Teofimo Lopez, it may not be talked about as much, but he can be caught and he can be put in a bad state? And all the stuff that Shakur's been saying on the outside in the build-up to this fight may just be able to come true because on Teo's end, not on Shakur's end, on Teo's end, he might not be as, I don't want to say invincible, but as much of a sustaining power that people may view his chin as now, going up against a perceived non-puncher in Shakur, might not be as concrete that, okay, he isn't, nothing can happen to him. Because you got to understand, the same thing happened when he faced off against Kambosos. When he fought Kambosos, nobody thought, I did not think, nor did Teo, nor did any pundit, expert or fan, feel that Kambosos was a hard-hitting puncher. He was aggressive. He was furious. He was a warrior. He still is a warrior, but he's not somebody who, one, talent was up to par to the level of what we are seeing with Teo, who just beat Lomachenko, and two, he was nowhere close to the power puncher that we had seen Teofimo Lopez face off against with other fighters at 135 and subsequently at 140. He wasn't. Never was. Still never is. He's not a big-time puncher, voluminous puncher. Somebody that will work a lot. He'll throw a lot behind his shot, but not necessarily it's all going to be, okay, yeah, he'll clock you out. With that being the case, he got surprised. He got shocked. Yes, he had the chest stuff going on with air in his lungs, not just breathing, but like, I think it was under his lungs, and it could have been deathly, legitimately in that ring. Could have died at any moment. Could have seen a situation where somebody, the worst happened. Thankfully it didn't, but the same point still stood. Even with that context of Teo being very much behind the eight ball health-wise as a fact in that fight, still got put down. Because he was also underestimating the power of Kambosos. And when he underestimated that, what happened? Well, he got shot. He got shocked and actually got hurt, or rather rocked, or at least landed flush after that knockdown a couple more times in that fight. We're looking at a situation in time, at that point in time, where Teo devalued Shakur. Now, will he make that mistake in this fight? Probably not. But if he does, that can absolutely be a factor that we see happen again. And some of you all who are saying we're going to see Shakur knock out Teo or knock down Teo, it can be viable. That's option number one, or rather reason number one, why I might be backtracking a little bit on the impossibility that Shakur can knock out Teofimo Lopez. Might be more possible than I expected. That's the first reason. Second reason comes down to, I'll give you there's a possibility, but it is due to one specific thing. Something that Sandor Martin had, something that Kambosos had, and something that I want to ask you, the public, is a question on the side of Shakur Stevenson. Does he have this specific thing in order to be able to make it viable that, yeah, I can put down Teofimo Lopez? Is it just raw power? Is it size and length? None of those. The question I got for Shakur, does he have the speed to catch Teo with that type of shot? Now, it may sound like a foolish question, talking about the punch speed of Shakur Stevenson, but I don't think it's as foolish as we may think, and I'm going to tell you why. And right after this, right after I read some of your chats in the comment section down below, like with Al Booga. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show with us on today. We appreciate you tuning in on this auspicious occasion of the Welch Report on this Thursday afternoon. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for having fun with me over on today. Hopefully you're liking the show. Hopefully you keep on tuning in. Hopefully you keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know. Hold on real quick. Let me make sure that the stream is still working properly. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Albuga, I see it. I see it. I do see it. Just give me 1 second. I had to check a thing and then put out a post. But look, we good now. Let me see what you got to say. Tio is going to lose 8-4 or worse. You're saying he's going to lose 8-4 or worse. That's a sketchy word. That's a very bold prediction that we're going to see Shakur essentially walk away with the victory. That would be, if he does do that, we'll talk about impressiveness. That would be insane. But let me see. There are fights tonight, and Zuffa kicks off tomorrow. Andy Cruz and Raymond Saturday. A lot of boxing coming up. Like I said, we're going to be talking about all of that on today. We got Shakur, we got Zuffa that we're going to discuss, especially with the passing of essentially the go ahead with I believe the House of Representatives on the Ali Act revival situation. Also, Campo is also fighting on one of the headliners, I believe, and they signed with Jaya Patai. That whole situation with will they let him fight for the belts, and will they work with other sanctioning bodies to let Jaya Patai become undisputed like he wants to, even though they said we're not working with any other sanctioning bodies outside the ring. It's a lot of stuff. Trust me, we're going to discuss it all right here on this show with you on today. But let me see. I got Shakur by fairly comfortable decision. I think he was surprised. A lot of people going to put their hands on you. And again, great response. I get it. Hey, I vouch for it. No question. If that happens, great. No problem. What we have to ask is how can it happen? And more than anything, if it does happen, what's the likelihood that it could be legitimately by a knockout? And here's why I say that. Going back to the topic at hand per se with Shakur. First, I said it was because of the fact that yes, skill-wise, yeah, he can do it. Sure, he can potentially go through and have the capacity to with the gained and added power, boom, be able to catch him. The questions of Tio's chin lingering from the Cambosos and Sandor Martin fights. But on the other side of the spectrum, with Shakur, if we are going to say that Shakur has the power to knock him out, the other question on that side has to be, does he have the speed to catch Tio to land that shot? And here's why I say that. There's a question that doesn't get brought up often, from the standpoint of Shakur and his prowess and abilities. And that's speed, sharpness, latent strength that he's built up as he's grown in divisions, IQ, footwork, all that stuff. All of that is unquestionable. Defense, impeccable. Accuracy, one of the most accurate in the game. Defensive prowess, the best defensive fighter in boxing right now. No issue there. Looking at the other side of the spectrum, though, or rather looking at the other latent gifts that he has, one of the things that I've seen when I watch Shakur that doesn't blow me out the water is his hand speed. Doesn't mean that he isn't sharp. That don't mean that he ain't quick. But hand speed wise, when compared to some of the others in the division, it's not as comparable on that same level. If there was something I could say that he might not, that might be the one of the lesser great attributes, in his boxing array, would be his hand speed. That's not calling him slow. Be clear. That's not me calling him slow. That's me saying it's not as high level as some of the other comparable fighters around him, as well as within the vein of the elite caliber that he's at as a boxer. Hand speed wise, while he is sharp, he is not nearly as fast as some of the other people, i.e. TEOFIMO Lopez's own direct competitor. It's not the same speed. One of the things that I have questions of dealing with the likes of Cambosos compared to Shakur, with the shot that Cambosos landed on TEOFIMO Lopez, that quick overhand right hand, one of the best punches we've ever seen Cambosos hit or throw, land outright in his entire career. Incredibly quick, incredibly fast. It doesn't just take the ability to catch Tio because, oh, you can time him. He's got enough reaction time to be able to come through and adapt, get out the way, move, react. He's that elite. You got to be fast enough to hit him, even if you were able to know how to time him, because he's quick enough to get out the way. Does SHAKUR have that type of hand speed? And that might be a question from the standpoint of knocking him out. Watching film, watching him fight, it is not me saying that he is slow. It is me saying that he might not be, from a hand speed perspective, fast enough to land that shot. Yeah, sure, he can counter him up close and stuff, yeah. But notice the shots that landed on SHAKUR, or the shots that landed on Tio, like the one with Sandro Martin, like the one that landed on him with Kambosos, that knocked him down. Things came out like lightning. That Sandro Martin check hook came out almost faster than a speeding bullet. Caught him off balance on the back of the head. Again, SHAKUR is quick, but his hand speed is not like that to those degrees. That's not me saying that he's slow. Watch the film. He's sharp. He is fast. He is accurate. Yes, but it is not that same elite level hand speed that we deal with others. Sharpness and speed are not the same thing. They can translate to each other, but they're not the same thing. They can help each other, but they're not the same thing. We know they're not the same thing. You got to be like on it from a hand speed perspective. And I don't know if SHAKUR has that. Because if you don't have that, that's why I don't think you can knock him out if you're SHAKUR Stevenson, beyond just the punching power. Because to land that KO shot or that thudding shot, you got to punch when Tio can't react. You got to punch to where Tio's own cognitive thinking can't read what's going to happen. That's not just because setting him up. It's because when you throw that shot, he can see it, but there ain't nothing he can do. And mind you, when he got caught like that is when he was off his game. On his game, it's even tougher. That's why my question comes into play. Does SHAKUR have the hand speed to knock out TEOFIMO Lopez? He's got the hand speed to box with him. He's got the hand speed to be able to go through, and if he needs to counter, boom, yeah, counter, all that stuff. But to knock him out, it's going to take a different level of, instantaneous type of, not just reaction time, but connecting time. And I don't know, from when I'm watching the film with Josh Padley, watching the film with Jamal Herring, watching the film with Yoshino, when he's been able to do some damage on people. Artem Haratunian doing damage on people. I don't know if he's got the hand speed necessary to put down the likes of TEOFIMO Lopez. If we're going to ask the question, can he knock him out? At least that's just me. But I want to hear from you all as to what you all have to say on. Hold on, that is right. Okay, yeah. I want to see what you all have to say on the matter right here on the show. Let me go back up and scroll through some of the chats real quick. Let me see. What is it? Is it Saletta Zero? If I'm saying it wrong, I do apologize. But how you doing? Hey, good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. What's happening? You here? What's on the where you live in the U.S.? I live down south, around the Carolinas. Yes, indeed. Good old-fashioned Carolinas. But where exactly? I ain't gonna tell you. Oh, yes, indeed. We're gonna keep that confidential. But oh yeah, I'm proud to be from down here. From down here at the most environmentally unique part of the United States of America. Oh boy, we about to get a blizzard coming up through here right now. Was it Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia? Is it gonna get down to Florida? I don't know. But we got a cold front coming. It's gonna be insane. Absolutely, we excited. But hey, look, how you doing? Good to see you. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to just ramble on. I wanted to make sure I got that point off because if I had stopped, I was gonna forget what I was trying to say. So I had to breeze through. But no, but we gonna come through and see what y'all got to say. Let me see. I don't see the stoppage at all. He doesn't have that kind of offense to stop a guy like T.O. I just don't see it. But who knows? And again, it could be the case. The athletic battle is interesting. T.O. is flashy, noticeable movement, quick twitch. Quick feet, quick hands, fast head movement, absolutely. But SHAKUR is a master of distance control, subtle foot speed, and good hand speed. And it is a great matchup, absolutely. But that's I do really believe that speed factor is going to take a bigger toll on this fight than we may recognize. Even though everything else about SHAKUR is great, that's the one good thing about T.O. While everything else is great to elite, the one good thing about T.O. is the fact that his hand speed is good. It's not great, but it's good. It's sharp, but it's good. Boots Ennis is sharp and it's great to elite hand speed. Gary Antoine Russell, elite hand speed. Ryan Garcia, elite hand speed. Devin Haney, great hand speed. Tank Davis, great hand speed. We are not trying to say that SHAKUR is slow, but we are saying that if you want to view the one of the lower parts of his all-around masterful game, his hand speed is one of them. Or one of the rare things that isn't crossing that threshold where it's above everybody else around or beyond his own division. So that's it's interesting. T.O. might have faster hands. He does have faster hands. He absolutely does have faster hands. He does. T.O.'s combination flow, his ability to work inside, outside, popping out multiple jabs, moving left to right, 4-punch combinations, doubling up with the same hand. Notice most of SHAKUR's shots are 1-2 or 1-punch combinations. Straight up. You don't throw 3 or 4, not just because it's stylistic, but because if you look at how he throws, we keep on saying it's got some weight. It can have weight behind it, and it can, but at the same breath, it's not coming out boom boom. It's not coming out boom boom. It's boom. It's boom. It's stinging. It's deliberate. It's incredibly technical, but it ain't coming out. It ain't coming out quick, but it's coming out sharp. Go back and watch the Zepeda fight. Look at the punches that he was throwing against Zepeda. It was incredibly sharp and accurate. We loved the offensive rate that he showed in that fight. But he was not throwing fast. He was sitting down. He was landing heavy leather. Absolutely. It was his best offensive performance. But most of his combinations were 1-2. Or straight up one big shot, looking to counter, another big shot, boom, boom, go back on the defensive. That's not a knock, again, that's his style. But look at the punches that he threw. Look at the speed of the shot. You can see it coming. That's not because he's telegraphing it, but because if you look, compare it to a Raymond Murtala, compare it to even an on his game Andy Cruz, compare it to the other people that went at 130, Abdullah Mason. His hand speed is not like that, though his technique and his ability is in fact above them. But it's not the same. Look at his speed compared to Devin Haney. It is not the same. Look at his hand speed compared to TEOFIMO Lopez. It's not the same. Look at his hand speed compared to Terrence Crawford. It's not the same. He's slower. But he is still so good at picking his shots. He's sharp enough to still get the opening, but it is not fast like the others in his own division. It's a unique dichotomy that it still works, but dealing with this It's going to be very interesting to see how that hand speed, if that gap is shown to be something seriously substantial, how in fact he adapts and handles with it. Again, this is just about if we can see Shakur knock him out. I'm saying I don't think he can, because I don't think his hand speed is fast enough to land that shot that would knock him out, like with Kambosos when he knocked him out or knocked him down with a straight overhand right that came out quick. I mean quick. I don't think he can punch like that from a speed perspective, but he's a better puncher. Teo can't get reckless, but if he doesn't get reckless, great. If you want to see Shakur get his respect, he's got to land that shot. Respect beyond just, oh, he's a smart guy. He's got to land that type of shot. That Kambosos landed. Or that Martin landed when he caught him off balance, but still. Does he have the speed to land that? I don't know. He's got the speed to score. He's got the speed to counter. But whenever Shakur lands shots that got some pop, he does load up. And it's not that it's telegraphed, but you can see the punch coming. The mechanics are there, just the speed ain't there. Not to that degree. So, it's a concern. Or at least it's something to look out for. I'll say that. Now, let me see. Albert Real, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. One thing I know about Teo, he can fight backwards. I don't think Shakur knows how to fight backwards. Now, see, I digress there. Shakur can fight backwards. Absolutely. That's how he gets a lot of his counters. You getting over aggressive, you try to come in, counters you, then keeps on staying at bay, catching the shots, and then boom. Getting out or jabbing and circling back around. He can fight backwards. Teo is just better at fighting backwards offensively. When Shakur fights backwards, he's trying to lead you into a shot. You're trying to get over aggressive. More so, not even lead you into a shot. He's trying to be defensively sound and just stay safe and then be able to get back to the center of the ring, plant his feet, and then subtly keep that distance with that jab. Teo, if he fights backwards, he's looking to counter you and hurt you, rock you. He's trying to go through and put you out if he can. And he will be able to have more ways of showing his game while off the back foot. He's a more destructive counterpuncher. He's a more active counterpuncher than Shakur Stevenson. He will take more chances. And you may say that's a knock against him going up against one of the most accurate punchers in the game in Shakur, but that's actually can be an advantage against Shakur. Because Shakur, one thing about Shakur, he doesn't take chances. The man who's always safe versus the man who always takes risk, who's going to be the one to win the day? Well, the reason why Teo takes risk is because of the fact that he knows more likely than not, I'll have the capacity that even if this risk goes wrong, I can make it right. Shakur doesn't even want to have that as a mind frame to put himself at risk for that. So his hesitancy could cause him to let Teo get what he wants to get. Because I'm willing to take the risk that you ain't. When you get put in a situation where you're in danger, it's not by design. But for me, it is. I know I'm putting myself out there because I got a plan. Your plan is to not get put out there in the first place. You don't want to get put in deep waters. I'm risking to jump into deep waters. I'm not saying I'm a better swimmer than you. Both of us can swim. But the question is, when we do get out there, who can handle themselves better? Who can handle themselves better? If it goes down to we both gotta jump. And these physical attributes could be a situation. And part of that is because both forward and backwards, Teo is more dimensional. He is, as a fighter, he's more dimensional offensively. Absolutely. He's a better counterpuncher. He's a more powerful puncher as a whole. He's a faster puncher. He's got more angles that he can go and make you miss and make you pay. He can make windows out of nothing to break. Stuff that you think should not be a countering chance, he will make a chance. Because that's how he is. That's how he fights. That is how he fights. Absolutely. Also, Burr, what's up to you? I forgot to say hi. What's up to you? I need a Burr. How you doing? Good to see you again. Thank you all for tuning in. And please, we got 15 people here. Please, all of you, just leave a like on the video. It would mean the world to me. Absolutely. And help push this show out to the masses around the globe to help us get even more people involved in the conversation. And we can make this show even more fun and enjoyable. We still got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be talking about. Absolutely. But I still want to see what you all's chats are. But please, leave a like on the stream. It would mean the world to me. Absolutely. No question about it. Let me see. John, the whole East Coast is cooking. Nah, yeah, it's bad, boy. It's bad out here. And look, Albuquerque, it's bad out here, man. It's bad. We got stores are cleaned out. Everybody's completely picking everything out of the aisles, from milk to bread to butter. Yeah, it don't matter what it is. Everything's gone. I'm telling you, if even an inch of snow down south, all of a sudden means the world is ending. My gosh, everybody batting down the hatch. We're getting ready to go into lockdown. I'm telling you. People calling out of work. People saying don't come visit me. People getting hot chocolate. People getting toilet paper. They preparing for outages, and we might not even get snow, like actual snow down here down south. It could be just straight up some ice that knowing how this stinking region goes. It could melt it could melt within the hour. It could go from 30 to 70 in a heartbeat. Who knows what the world's going to happen? I tell you, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's pandemonium. It's pandemonium down here. So please, hey, pray for us, because Lord knows, I don't know what's going to be on, what type of time these people are going to be on down south. Oh, it's going to be dangerous. But let me come up with what you have to say on the timing beat speed. SHAKUR is a master. He is a master at timing. Absolutely. But you're dealing with two masters that deal in similar crafts. It's just in a different application. Teo's, the reason why he's such a great counter puncher is because he's such great timing. Well, he has such great timing in his own right. We got to look at that. He has such great timing in his own right that makes that power so substantially destructive. It's not just the fact that he's got hand speed on his own. It's that, and he knows I can trust it because I know I will beat you there. I know I'll beat you there. I can guarantee 9 times out of 10 in Teo's mind, I will beat you to that punch. SHAKUR is perfection in timing, absolutely. But somebody else who understands that same plane of game, it can make for a very interesting and potentially struggling matchup for SHAKUR to be able to do what he normally does. And that's hard to do for somebody. That's hard to make a master like SHAKUR have to relegate or recalibrate in that type of regard. Somebody can time me in the same way I can time him. That's not rare that we see that for an opponent of SHAKUR Stevens. That's what we got right now. Let me see. I honestly think I honestly thought Boots was going to show his sparring of Canelo in his YouTube video. He ain't doing that. I promise you, he ain't, unless he knocked him out. And he wanted to get the hype train going to help further bolster his career, or was trying just to call out a shot at Canelo outright. He ain't paying that footage. He ain't showing us that footage. He gonna keep to that sparring code that we normally hear. There was too much money he most likely got for sparring with Canelo that he don't want to ruin that relationship if Canelo wants to spar with him again to prep for another fight that he got coming up. So I guarantee you, he ain't, unless it's an opportunity to get a fight against him, he ain't showing that sparring. I promise you, he ain't doing that. He ain't messing up that bag. I can guarantee you that. He's not messing up that bag. I can guarantee you that, because he wants to. He'll be more than willing to run it back. Now, he did say that he felt after that sparring, hey man, I know I'm the best in the world. For that sparring with Canelo, I know how bad of a brother I am. So he probably got confidence, which I'm happy for. But he ain't messing up that bag to potentially, if Canelo needs him again to spar. Hey, come on and give me some work. Fine. Because he's going to get a hefty amount. If I wouldn't really, if I was Boots, Because I'm trying to keep that paper. Absolutely. Let me see. I just rewatched Marco Antonio Barrera completely school prime Hamed at the end of his 6-year tournament. Yeah, no, it's that performance, Hasim Hamed, was insane. Mind you, from the standpoint of because Prince Hamed looked like a video game character. He legitimately did. The way he fought, the way he punched. There's no reason why nobody at that size should carry that much of one punch power and be that elusive and be that free at the same time. It was insane. He was ridiculous. The fact that Barrera was able to actually stop that, like legit stop all of that, and get a win in that match, insane, ridiculous, absolutely. If you haven't seen that, it's a great watch to see. And timing and boxing skill beat speed. Marco showed us that night, and he did. Absolutely, he did. And if that is what we see with SHAKUR against Teo, we'll be all the more impressive. It would be all the more impressive. Now, well, granted, Teo doesn't do as much of the exaggerated risk that Prince Ahmed did, but nonetheless, you can catch and drop Teo, a mentally prepared Teo, a focused Teo. You doggone right, that'll be a huge win. That'll be an insane win. Just to win alone, let alone if he actually gets this knockdown. Let me see. Call of Duty Chris, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Chris, let me see what you got to say. SHAKUR, not KO or nothing. Like this is the conversation. Like I said, I don't think SHAKUR will do it because the shot that he would need to land would have to be in the same vein of a Kambosos. And I don't think he has that type of speed when he needs to sit down on his shots to properly land that type of punch. Not because he isn't sharp, but he's just too slow. But if he does have more punching ability than Kambosos. He's got more punching ability than Sandor Martin. One of the biggest things about SHAKUR that people don't talk about, we don't just say he's a big kid because he's a big kid. We say he's a big kid because he's got some big latent power inside of that type of frame. He put a hurt on Jamal Herring. He knocked out Yoshino, who's undefeated coming out of Japan. You saw he messed up Oscar Valdez. And he could have knocked out Artem Haratunian, same brother who nearly beat Frank Martin at 135 before Frank Martin had fought the likes of Gervonta Davis. He was one round away if he had just not got knocked down to the body. And he not just outboxed him, he fought him on the inside as well as he was in position to knock him out. But that same mantra that he had used, that he held back then, we're scared that he still holds now. When you're hurt, you're dangerous. And when you're fresh, you're dangerous. So why risk anything? If SHAKUR wants to win, he can't have that mindset. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I know. If SHAKUR wants to win, he cannot have that same mindset that if you are fresh, you're too dangerous. And if you are overtly hurt, you're still too dangerous for me to try to pull the trigger on and get you out of it. You can't do that. When somebody is on your level. He knocked out Josh Padley, absolutely. He took the fight to Cepeda, absolutely. This is a different ball game. This is De Los Santos times 10. Athletic ability with a talent and skill that rivals your own, whether people want to admit it or not. That's how good Teo is. So, you can't think like you thought against De Los Santos. You can't think like you thought against Artem Haratunian in this fight. Because if you do, you sure enough going to get beat. You're sure enough going to get beat, I guarantee you. He can't do it. He cannot do that. Let me see. King Kong, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Please keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing the show. It would mean the world to me. One like helps him, does an immense work to help make this show even better. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. This fight will be a running competition. Kerr uses his bicycle again like he did against Concise. I don't think that he will be able to be on his bike in the same way because Teo can get to him. Now, it can be a situation of the first 4 rounds might be a very methodical feinting fest. Feinting jabs, foot feints, body feints, nobody committing to anything. It could be that for the first 3 to 4 rounds of this fight, absolutely. But at some point in time, when if Teo gets the advantage or doesn't see that he's getting the advantage, he's going to put the pace and he's going to be able to walk and cut off the ring against Shakur. Because Shakur ain't a mover. Mind you, outside of De Los Angeles, he isn't a mover. The brother, I use this all the time. I'm a big fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, an anime that I watch. Phenomenal show. If you can watch it, it's on, I think, Netflix. Great. Infinity. He's 2 inches from infinity. Or you're 2 inches from infinity. What that means is he's always in front of you, but he's always just out of reach. But no matter how much you try to press, you can't get to him. He's that elite at distance control. So it's going to be difficult, but if Teo needs to do it, he's the best bet to get through that infinity barrier. But on the flip side, let's paint the other picture. What if we see Teo win those first 3 rounds in the fight? What if all of a sudden by rounds 5, Shakur is down 2 rounds or 1 round, going into the halfway point, and the boxing that we see Shakur want to do doesn't work? Now, he's going to have to go through and become a front foot fighter. Because we know good and well that we can see Teo go through and fight off the back foot. And if he needs to be defensive and just get out the way, he's a better mover than Shakur Stevenson. He is. A better defensive fighter. And boxing-wise, they're on a similar playing field. But from the standpoint of movement, ability, and agility, yeah. Teo can play that same game that we say Shakur plays all the time, and he can, if it gets to a point where he's up, why press? I'm good now. You got to come fight me. And if that happens, the whole script can flip. Now you got to fight a mirror. Can Shakur do that if that's what happens? If that's what happens. I don't know. That's a big question. But I don't think he's going to run against Teo. He'll still fight like Shakur, but he won't be able to run in the same way because he's got somebody that can get to him and catch him. Now, he does. He does. It's not going to be easy, but the capacity is there. The capacity is definitely there. Let me see. Hang on. What risk does Teo take? He has 22 wins, 13 KOs. Shakur has 24 wins with 11 KOs. When Teo takes more risk in countering and looking to land shots offensively, part of the reason why Teo is such a dynamic fighter is because of those 50-50 exchanges when both fighters are punching, as well as he will walk forward and put himself in a position, I might get caught, but I'm relying on my ability to slip and punch, catch and punch, duck and counter, whatever what I need to do, to still apply that pressure and take risk that if I lose this, I might get caught with a flush shot. I lose this opportunity trying to be on the front foot. I'm in position. Hey, I can get caught. When he was trying to bully and bulldoze down Kambosos, hands down and all, he did it because, yeah, it's a risk. He wants to bait out shots so he can land something better. And he's all confident in his ability and instincts to move like he needs to move against that type of, I don't want to say reckless, but very much calculated but dangerous risk of putting himself in a position where if I do get this wrong, I'm guaranteed to be landed on. He's just that good at it doesn't happen often. Yes, they both have a similar knockout ratio. I understand from the standpoint of 22 wins, 13 KOs, 24 wins for Shakur, 11 KOs. I get that. But we know good and well that the punching ability, the offensive array and talent, and the very dynamics that both fighters fight in, they are not the same at all. And the mentality and the identity of how Shakur and Teo fight are night and day. They're night and day. Just because you don't knock a bunch of people out does not mean that you don't take risk. Just because you may not have a high volume of KOs doesn't mean that you as an offensive fighter ain't somebody that can bring it to him. Sean Porter had 10 KOs on his entire career. 33 and 2 with 10 KOs, and the brother was one of the most risk-taking, relentless fighters that we got in boxing today. Eastside Cruz, same thing, though he got even more knockouts on his resume. It's a prime example of somebody you can take up. But Timothy Bradley took a bunch of risk with his offensive identity because he wants to bring the fight to you. He's a warrior. Not reckless abandon, but it is, hey man, I'm putting myself in the fire that I can get caught and put in a bad state, but I'm going to do it because the risk is worth the reward. So we're going to make it happen. That is what Teo does. Don't let just the record doesn't tell the whole story, because if you watch the fight, you absolutely know Shakur is uber conservative, and at the same breath, Teo is uber offensive. At their best, both of them are at the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. At his best, Teo is able to go through and put everything on the line once he feels the rhythm, feels the rhyme, feels the flow of the fight. Next thing you know, the brother's going through and looking like Matrix 2.0. Touching his heel, uppercuts, slipping, putting his head out, posturing in front of you, almost dancing in the center of the ring, baiting out shots, catching a hook and throwing it, ducking all at the same time, uppercut, boom, 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 all that. He'll do whatever he wants offensively once he gets going. Once he gets that flow. At the same breath, Shakur will make you miss 10 times over. At his best, counting you and make you look like a fool that you don't know how to punch at all. But he's uber conservative at his best. It's a legit clash of styles from two of the largest spectrums of each individual type of boxing identity. The aggressor versus the defender. The wall versus water. Like I said yesterday, Shakur being the defensive wall and Teo being water. Can the water get through the cracks of the wall, or is the wall too well built that the water won't be able to come through? That's what this is. And it's a beautiful dynamic, which is why I can't wait for this fight. Absolutely. Now, Shakur going to run like Jermaine. I don't think I don't think that he will. Because I also don't know if judges are going to reward that anymore. I don't know if judges are going to reward that because of the seemingly change in dynamic that boxing is looking to judge and move through when it comes to gauging what is and is not a fighter trying to make a fight. Especially on a ring card where people don't want Tom and Jerry affairs. So, I don't know. But let me see. Chris, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let me see. I disagree. Teo won't try to leap in on Shakur. And I respect it. When I say, I'm not saying that Teo is going to just jump in another Williams and Payne type of fight. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that because of what he will need to do in this fight, there's going to be opportunities where he will jump on and say, okay, we're going to put something on the line. And somebody in this fight is going to have to become the aggressor. Somebody's going to have to. Most likely it will be Teo, unless Teo wins those early rounds. And then that was the other in the spectrum. Shakur got to become the aggressor. But because of that and the question of patience on Teo, he will, in my mind, take more opportunities where, all right, we're going to put out a risk against a very deliberate defensive fighter, take a shot to try to land something. Not jump on him and maul him, but he's going to have, both of them, but specifically Teo, is going to have to be successful in those opportunities where, okay, we're going to amp up the pulse of this fight. Because if he doesn't, then it's going to be a long night for him. But if he can, it can work out in his favor. Let me see. Albert Real, yep, told, well, you might be talking about one of the other chats. Yep, totally agree. SHAKUR ain't no tank. He's not. And he shouldn't be. He's not, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. His hands can't hold up to be that type of tank. And if anything, Tank has got the power later on to be able to say, I can lose these rounds and knock him out. Because that's what my whole game plan is. SHAKUR, that's never been his game plan. Knocking you out is not the goal. It is a great caveat of a phenomenal fight plan, but it's not the goal. If it was the goal, we could see a more exciting SHAKUR on average, but it wouldn't be SHAKUR that we know now. It wouldn't be the defensive savant that we hold in such high esteem. It wouldn't be the same. And so he shouldn't be. Let me see. I want to see Tank versus Core before Tank goes to jail. While Tank is still in his prime, at this point, Tank is not on my mind because Tank cost himself all these opportunities. He did it. And mind you, I know we say alleged and all that stuff with the jail time and whatnot. We understand cops got the stuff that he did on video in their own custody that matches with the woman's testimony. So it looks like it's all but confirmed. Okay, yeah, he did it, and they're looking for him right now. He's on the run. They still don't know where the word he is. Good gosh, that brother disappeared quick and in a hurry. I tell you, when he wants to move, he'll move. Lord knows where he is right now. But he cost himself. He could have already fought SHAKUR. He could have fought SHAKUR, Devin Haney, TEOFIMO Lopez, Ryan Garcia again, could have rematched Isaac Cruz, could have rematched Lamont Welch, and fought Abdulaziz within the span of 2023 and 2025. But he chose not to do a doggone thing and let his life get in the way because of his own decisions. Mind you, this ain't me just putting blame. Because of his own decisions, he let his life mess up what he could have been. As well as inside the ring, he chose to fight Jake Paul as the next fight after Lamont Roach, instead of fighting Shakur Stevenson when he was at 135, instead of fighting Lamont Roach at a rematch, instead of fighting Abdullah Mason, instead of going for another championship and unifying after he was given, not fought for, but given the WBA title when Devin Haney moved up to 140 and dropped all the belts. This is not me lamenting or saying he doesn't deserve to be a champion. We're not going to detract from email champions or not. No, what happens, happens. We're talking about when you had the belt, you did nothing. When you had all the chips before and after becoming a champion at 135, you didn't do a doggone thing for the level of talent and named fighters from a standpoint of your threshold of elite caliber, people that were at the same level as you. You didn't do a doggone thing when you had 4 to 5 mega fights that you could have made between 2023 and 2025. Not even counting Lomachenko, who was also free around the same time as the Hector Garcia fight that you had, and you still didn't do it. And then subsequently after Frank Martin, when it was supposed to be that you were running through the woodwork of 135 as the start to finally getting to the elite names at the division, all 4 of them, you didn't do a doggone thing. That's on you. I don't feel bad at all that you lost out on these opportunities. I hate the fact that you're probably gonna go to jail. I hate the fact that what happened outside the ring, and I hope you get your life together. Absolutely. But at the same time, in ring, you cost yourself and you dug your own grave. I can't feel sympathy for that because you did it on your own. Let me see. Shakur don't deserve a Tank payday. No, he does. Tank don't deserve a Tank payday. That's the truth. Tank don't deserve a Tank payday. He doesn't. He doesn't. And he doesn't. And if you want to say that Shakur to sell out for helping Jake Paul, Tank gets a sell out for fighting Jake Paul. When Tank said himself he would never fight above 140 again because he can't fight at 140. He can only fight at 135. Remember that? He had a hit list of everybody at 135. He never fought him. You said you had a big name that you were ready to fight. You were finally going to call somebody out, and you did not call out anybody, but you were going to fight Jake Paul, and you agreed to it even after the draw. You're a bigger sellout than that. You ain't saying Jared Anderson's a sellout. You ain't saying Frank Sanchez is a sellout. You ain't saying Raymond Ford's a sellout. You ain't saying Lawrence Okoli is a sellout. All of them helped out Jake Paul as well. All of them helped out Jake Paul. You ain't calling them a sellout. It's the same thing like if we called the likes of Jerron Boots Ennis a sellout because he helped out Canelo Alvarez training for Terrence Crawford. We're not calling that a sellout. I'm not trying to make this a race thing or a code thing. We're not doing that, but it's not a sellout. It's not. Because some of those same sellout parameters would apply to other people, and they don't. So it's not. At least not to me. And like I said, all the help in the world wouldn't have helped them out at all because guess what? They still would have lost. This is a bum. It's a bum regardless. Yeah, sure, I'll teach you how to clinch and hug. Guess what? You're still going to get KO'd. And it's like, you know what? That's a whole other conversation. We can have that whole other conversation for another day. But essentially, same thing as when people calling Boots a sellout for Canelo, calling Shakur a sellout with Jake Paul. And I despise Jake Paul as a boxer. I despise him. As a person, he's terrible as well. His actions, absolutely. As a boxer, I hate him. Hate him to my core. I'm glad he got knocked out. And I still think I still believe he is on PEDs because that punch should not have been able to. That punch should have rendered him unconscious when that got landed on him. And his whole head shape and features have changed since he's gotten into boxing. Not because of the added weight or damage, but because of the fact that I do believe he's on something. Because I've seen other people take stuff and it's been the same change in physical appearance. So I was almost saying, I don't know, again, alleged. Not trying to put no dispersions, but something. Ain't no way somebody at cruiserweight should be able to stand up, be conscious after that type of shot. No way. No way whatsoever. And it wasn't just water weight, because the brother, he fat and out of shape, but something was awry with that. But even still, regardless of which, shout out something not for me doesn't always translate with everybody. Not applicable. Let me see. Shakur need to take away TO's footwork with strategic positioning and targeting Lopez's lower body to break Lopez's rhythm. He does. Now, if he goes downstairs to the body, he's risking getting caught with a shot like an uppercut to Teo, or from Teo, rather. So what's the risk reward statement? Now, it would work. Guaranteed the body doesn't move even though the head does. You got the length and you got reach and you'll be able to, and again, you're sharp enough, you can jab him downstairs to the body. Land some quality work. But at the same breath, what if he breaks his hand again? Like he did against Josh Padley. Even post-surgery. Though again, against William Zepeda, fought phenomenal. And looked like his hands are just fine. I love that. But at the same time, it's a question. It's a real question of whether or not the likes of Shakur will still be healthily ready to keep on punching, especially if you're trying to sap the body. Because this same malleable area of the basement, which is the midsection, it's the same place that you broke your heads more time than once. So it's as much as it is a great game plan, it is a risk. It is a risk for Shakur nonetheless, but it's a risk he's going to have to take. No question about it. Shakur's a 3-division champion, unified world champion, and Olympic silver medalist. Yeah, no, he's great. He's phenomenal. No, he is phenomenal. No question about it. Trying to make sure I can keep on reading. What you have to say? Shakur worked for Jake Paul, trying to help Jake against Tank. Shakur is a cone. Like I said, Raymond Ford did the same thing. If you would have called him, okay, fine, that's up to you. Like I said, it wouldn't have helped regardless. Now, I wouldn't, no, because of me, I wouldn't have helped him. Because I want to see anybody get knocked out. That was me. That's me. And now he's got some loyalty to him because of the fact that he said that he's a good fighter, even though he's not. It ain't great. I know it ain't great. But, like I said, this is part of the regime. There were other fighters helping Jake Paul train even before this fight with Tank that were of the caliber of world level. whether it's world-class trainers, world-class teachers, or even world-class other boxers that came in to spar that we don't even know about. Are they sellouts too? Is anybody who helped out Jake Paul a sellout? And this is not me defending Jake Paul. I despise that man in boxing with my heart and soul. Y'all know me. But we got to keep it unbiased. We can't have a double standard like that. We can't. We cannot. Let me see. Patty said he ain't feel Shakur's punches on the head. Might not have. But they were landing flush. And he felt him downstairs to the body. He got something. He might not have felt him upstairs, but he got knocked down downstairs. Knowing what the midsection is, which is what you work on the most, and you got knocked out from there, he felt something. He felt something somewhere. Let me see. We made for TV. Hey, what's going on with it? How you doing? Good to see you. We made. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Let me see what you all got to say. I'm gonna start reading these chats a little bit quicker. They not, but Shakur in the interview saying he gonna do what he does and hope the judges count his stick and move punches. That they should. His work has never been bad work. The only question is if his work is like the work that happened against De Los Santos, where it is a legitimate running display, not boxing, but running, actively trying to avoid competition and engagement. They are not going to award that. But if it's just his actual legitimate stick and move Shakur type style, they should reward it. They should. If it is working. But the landscape of the dynamics of what boxing should be like changing, which to me I think it's in a good way. Engagement is valued more than it was under that Floyd Mayweather era regime. It can be. It's something he's got to look out for. Let me see. Yo, I love you. Yo, 281. What's going on with you? Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. Teo can be explosive out of nowhere. Shakur will need to fight more cautiously with him. Shakur will look to frustrate him and keep him from getting into that offensive rhythm. And then that the frustration is the key. Can Teo keep his frustration level to a minimum? Dealing with a fighter who will most likely make you have to work to get to him. Not just that he can counter you. You are going to get frustrated dealing with that type of fighter because he is so patient in his own right that he won't give you anything just to say, okay, I can plant my flag here and start working my way around. You got to really work to find yourself some consistent success. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be real difficult. Let me see. Sir Shakur turned down the fight with Devin Haney and Tank. Stop spreading that one. Shakur turns down a lot of fights. No, he did. I believe we did cover it. I believe we did cover it. Now, mind you, that still doesn't change the fact that as much as Tank has been saying that he wants big-time fights, and when Shakur was committing finally to say, okay, hey, I want this fight, let's make it happen, and all that stuff, and Tank was available. Tank still did not do what he was supposed to do. We said the same thing with Boots Ennis. Remember, when Boots said he wanted to go to 154, after fighting Karin Chukushan and saying that I can't handle 147 anymore, said he wanted to move up, ready to fight Ortiz and all that stuff, then held back, then stopped, then said I need to fight again down here, let me get unified, got unified, moved up, and instead of taking on Virgil Ortiz the first time, he still wasted more time by getting a tune-up fight. Now, I did say I'm okay with fighters taking tune-ups, but he was talking about 2 or 3, which was a problem. You are not making the fight that needs to happen. But then, after that tune-up at 154, he then went to the ring, got in Virgil Ortiz's face, changed his tune for the world to see, and now it was Virgil to now go and do what he needed to do. Now the whole thing with Oscar De La Hoya, messing up negotiations, now getting sued, all that happened when it happened. But then it fell on Virgil Ortiz's end. Okay, now the ball is in your court. We change as the situation changes. Same thing with Shakur Stevens. That's what happened. We don't do dispersions. We ain't trying to go through and make somebody what they aren't. Be clear. We don't do that. I'm trying to give you as much of the uncut stuff as I can for the content and news. And timeline. Like one of the things on this show, we try to tell the timeline of the sports world correctly so that everybody can be on the same page, even if their opinions may vary. So I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure I got everything put in its right place. But that's why we say still, even when SHAKUR was at fault, when he then corrected that and was saying, okay, I'm here now, make it happen, called him out and all that stuff, was free and available. He, in terms of Tank, still then did not do his end of the bargain. That's where we have to say, hey, you were as much as fault as this fight not happening because of your rhetoric and what you said and what you did not do versus what you said you would do as much as the other guy. If not more, in this situation for the past, 3 years. It's been more. From what we have been seeing on this channel. And as much of a untinted glass. Because again, as a fighter, I love Tank. We're not turning this into a Tank episode. Please, we ain't doing it. But I love Tank. As a boxer, I want to see him go and be great. At the same breath, we followed, but it wasn't being great like he should have. Because of his own volition. We've had multiple videos on that. Multiple. Because it's a shame. It's a shame because I do want to see him better. Let me see. God Eater, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Hey, do you know the boxer from Dagestan? Khalid? No, I do not. I apologize. Name eludes me. Don't know who he is. I do apologize. But let me keep on reading. Vegas Sports, what's going on with you? How you doing? Can I please join your cast and talk with you? Right now it's a one-man show at this point in time. I'm just doing me. Right now, I'm the host and I'm just letting anybody come in and talk as they can talk. I don't setting up like callers or other people featured here. I still gotta learn how to do that. I did it once. I need to do it a little bit better, so I'm trying to relearn exactly the proper process to do it. But in the future, stay tuned. We might have some changes that we can come through and have you all, be a little bit more, even more engaged than you are right now. But at this point in time, this is the best way to go through it. And I'm trying to talk with everybody as much as I can. Also, Justin, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. We're so happy that you are here. Let me see. Please let me know if you see this. I have a channel and I want to call in. Look, Vegas Sports. I appreciate you subbing in. We got another soldier in the Empire. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. What's so happy that you tuned in? What's so happy that you subscribed and chose to join our Empire, our community? And hey, look, like I said, we're working on stuff. We're trying to make it so that we can do other things to get more people involved in the show, to make it even more interactive. So when we do, hey, I would love to have a conversation. I'd love to have the talk and all that stuff. I just gotta learn. I'm doing it by myself. So I just gotta learn. I just gotta learn how to do it. Baby, at this point, as of right now, this is the best way to do it. But in the future, give me some time. We're gonna try to set some stuff up absolutely so we can have people come in. But as of right now, this is the best way to come through. Cause we don't have call-ins at this point in time. So, but let me see. Padley's average. Yes, he is. It wasn't great, but it is more of an average type of fighter. And again, I'm trying to talk to everybody's chest. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. Please, I'm not trying to come through and not talk to people. There's a lot of good points being made. There's a lot of good topics that people are saying. And I'm trying to reach at everybody. I really am trying to respond to every comment as much as possible. Please, I'm not trying to ignore you. I do apologize if it seems like I am not. I'm going down the list from everybody who's chatting just so we can try to get as much people as we can possible. Because y'all bring up some really good points, and it brings other points. But I'll be better. I'll do better. I'm still working on it. We're trying to get the flow of the show even better on, so we're trying to do the best I can to make sure we can do a little bit more, or rather be a little bit more, what's the word? Judicial with how we go through these chats, so we can still make you feel engaged and feel worthwhile to chat, but while still keeping the pace to the show going. So we're still trying to do the best we can on that, but I do apologize if it takes me a minute to get to your chats, but I am going to read them. Please, I am going to read them. I trust me. I promise you, I will be reading them. Absolutely. Let me see. Tank for 20. Tank Tank from the face of boxing in 2023 to face of jail real quick. Tank's career is so frustrating, and it is. It truly is, and I'm. It's a shame, not because we get it for what he, again, a lot of stuff is what he brought on himself. But we don't, I've said it before, I don't want a what if career. But it might be a what if type of career. Let me see. I enjoy watching, listening to the show. Keep up the great. Well, look, look, Love King, I appreciate it. I'll appreciate it. Like I said, we're trying to be the best that we can be. We really are. And I'm not trying to exclude anybody. I'm working my way down the list, and so I do want to let you all know I am trying to read all of your chats and give you the time of day, at least the best of my ability. If you're bringing up some really, good points, good topics, good things to kind of that can help add to the show, I really am. But I do apologize if it feels like I am ignoring or not reading what you chat. It's not because I'm not reading. I promise you, it's not because I'm reading. It's not because I'm not reading. Only because of the fact I'm trying to get everybody. I'm trying to talk with you. We're trying to build a intimate community per se, that you feel like you're really a part of the conversation in the best way possible. Because at some point in time, we're going to grow to the point that we won't be able to chat like this. We will. That's not me. That's not a bad thing. But it's going to become a point that as this show grows, we're going to get to a situation where it's going to be rolling like butter. And I want to try to catch as many people as I can, because all of y'all got such good things to say. But I do apologize, and I'll do better to be able to read and respond more quickly, so we can make sure everybody feels like they're read, seen, and they can be heard. So nobody feels like they're ostracized, to the best of my ability. And so I'll do better on that, I promise. I will promise. But let me keep on reading. I don't see KO happening for him either. Yep, I don't either. SHAKUR will drop to you in the 4th round. Remember I said, look, hey, if it does, I will be drastically impressed. I will be at the fight. I will be at this fight. Remember my wife my wife is Honduran. I think T.O. can definitely win, but I low-key think SHAKUR could win. It's still 50-50 in my eyes. No, absolutely. It is 50-50. No question about it. It is 50-50. It is not a situation of one drastically outweighs the other. Like I said, we've now worked our way down the entirety of the chats. So we can now nitpick a little bit with some of the stuff. It's not the fact that it's entirely one way or the other. If you feel that one person completely outclasses the other on paper, I strongly advise you to rethink your frame of thinking. This is not one of those overt, dominant, there's no way somebody else can win type of fights. That's ludicrous on paper to think about with this type of production, especially with the opponent being TEOFIMO LOPEZ that SHAKUR is going up against. It's not that type of fight. It is 50-50. And as much as SHAKUR can get, to do his thing, have his shine, box like he needs to box, it is what the biggest question. As much as we know SHAKUR can do what SHAKUR can do, the biggest question with SHAKUR: what will your plan B look like if plan A fails? Because as of right now, we can see SHAKUR fight in 2 ways. Fighting like the jabbing pot shotter with stiff punches and incredible defense. That's game plan A. Game plan B is then Zepeda. Fight like you fought against Zepeda. If you get forced to fight in game plan B, you were able to do that against Zepeda, which is phenomenal. We had questions you could even do that. But if it gets to that point, because you're dealing with somebody that can take away your plan A. You're dealing with somebody who can take away your plan A. You gotta fight like Zepeda against them. The question now becomes, what can you do if you got to fight like that against somebody who can fight like that better than you in that close range domain? If you get forced there. That's the question. Well, think about it. This is the reality. Plan B. What is the plan B? And can the plan B work? When we had Errol Spence Jr. fight against Terrence Crawford, everybody was saying if Crawford's gonna be too small, too weak, won't be strong enough, can't take the punishment and all that stuff. Well, my whole argument was, I think Crawford can win. And I think that he's gonna be able to take away the best weapon that Spence has to offer, which is that straight left hand and that hook. Which he did. You can go look at the breakdown. I said it almost down to the round of when Spence would get beat, how he would get beat, and what would cause the downfall directly. You can go watch it right here on this channel. But the reason why I asked that was, the reason why I said that was because what is your plan B when your best gets taken away? That's what helps make a great fighter. Shakur is a great fighter, absolutely. And he's shown he has a plan B, which is great. Can that plan B work? If you got to dig down and dirty against somebody who can take away your plan A, which is Teofimo Lopez. He can take away your boxing if he finds out, oh my gosh, wait a minute, I can box with you. And I've now bagged enough rounds that you can't box anymore. Because it's a wholehearted situation that as much as we can say Shakur will just outbox him cleanly, Buddy Teo could keep right there with him, if not beat him early in the fight in boxing monikers. Oh, I'm sorry, looking at something. And if that happens, what can you do? And can that Zepeda style that you fought in now work in your favor? I don't know. And if it can't, we're going to be in for a long day. Absolutely. Let me see. Who is winning this weekend? Well, this weekend is indeed Raymond Bertala versus Andy Cruz. Yes, indeed. That's one of the other fights on the day. And we're getting ready. We are getting ready to discuss that. And we might have to just save that for straight at the championship rounds because people got so much to say in regards to this topic with Tia. We had, like I said, you all control the show. We had Raymond Bertala versus Andy Cruz on the docket. We had some more stuff with Dana White and Zuffa. We had all of that on the docket for today. But y'all came in hot with all this stuff with Tia, which I love. Trust me, I love it. I'm so glad for the engagement. We'll just push some of the stuff back. And we might save it for the championship rounds a little bit and let everybody get everything out of their system when it comes to the Shakur Stevenson, Karen Shakur KO Tia. So we'll talk about it absolutely on the show. But let me come in. Tio cannot outbox Shakur. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. That might be a little more of a reality than you may feel. There might be a slight bit more of a reality than you may feel. It's hard for anybody to believe that Shakur can be beat in just straight up boxing. It's hard. And most people can't do it. Almost everybody can't do it. But what can happen? Just like we've seen with Teofimo Lopez before. And I said this when this fight got started. I said it when the fight got made. Teo can fight up to the level in boxing against some of the best in the world. He did it against the best boxer in the world in Lomachenko when he was at the peak of his powers at 135, nigh unstoppable as a 23-year-old. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't he had a bad day. It was legit. It was legit. He boxed Lomachenko and beat him. Actually beat him. He can fight to the level of Shakur's boxing ability because he's been at that level as a boxer at the literal highest level. He can do it. Just because his style may not be predicated in the same all-around vein of strictly nothing but boxing on a straight technical level as Shakur. He can, if he needs to go to that bag, because his bag is so vast and deep, he can get there. And if he needs to use that as the main tool, he's shown that he can do it and get to the all-world level with it. He has. That's what we're needed. I'm not saying that you're wrong. It is entirely possible that, yeah, Shakur just outboxing the Kingdom Come. But the reality of whether or not it is a full-blown, unabashed scenario that is impossible, that Teo can't outbox or match the boxing ability of Shakur Stevens. That's just not reality. From the standpoint of what is on the table with the known ceiling that we've had with Shakur Stevens, at least, or with Teofimo Lopez, excuse me, from what we've seen throughout his entire career, at least from what I've seen. So I don't know. It might not be. You might get surprised. You really, as much as we know Shakur can shock the world with what he can do to beat Teo. Mind you, this is the second time against somebody that's a pure boxer that Teo's been an underdog, and he kept on. Third time match, he was an underdog against Josh Taylor. He was an underdog against Lomachenko. Now he's an underdog against the likes of Shakur Stevens. He's what, plus 240? Something along those lines for the odds right now in this fight. Bet $100, I think, win 240. I believe that's how it works. He's the underdog for the third time, going up against a pure boxer. And the last two people that he's faced off against who was straight up pound for pound level, when he was seen as down and out, he beat him. He beat him. Josh Taylor and Lomachenko. Shakur could be that third. I'm not saying he will, but he could be that third. So you might get a little bit surprised. Let me see. Cali Cole or Josh Hart. Ooh, let me see. That's a good question. I want to say Cali Cole. I want to say Cali Cole. I'm gonna say Cali Cole. Wait, hold on, time out. Hold on. Everybody find the brakes. Wait a minute. Hold on, stream. Don't do this to me. Wait a minute. I don't know if it's happening to y'all. On my screen, stuff is going awry. If it's looking good for y'all, hold on. Give me 1 second. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh gosh, we got so much good. We've got such good momentum. Hold on. We got such good. Hold on. Don't do this to me. Don't do this. Please don't do this to me. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait a minute, everybody. Wait a minute. We're good. Okay, we're good. Okay, thank gosh. Okay. Who? I'm sorry. For a minute there. For a second there, I got concerned. I got concerned for a second there. I was a little. Oh Lord, I thought that was it. I thought that was it for the string. Oh, I thought that was it for the string. Okay, we're good. Well, thank God, we're good. We're A-okay. I thought we were about to conk out. Right, well and good. So, but I do apologize. I thought we were gone. My gosh. We good. We okay. Okay. But yeah, no, I got Cali Cole winning. Hope he wins anyway. I do hope he wins. But let me see. Justice, I agree it's hard to say Shakur will just outbox him. My eyes tell me Teo boxes a little better. But the real question is what Teo shows up. Teo could definitely outbox him. It's highly possible. But and you answered the question straight up, or you asked the proper question. What Teo shows up. That's regardless of what we may say Teo can bring at the highest level. The biggest issue, we don't know what Teo is gonna be on fight night. We don't. If we did, this would probably be a little bit more of a concrete position that people could hold of if they support Teo, why they support Teo, but they can't hold it in the same way because there is some trepidation. There's some concern about which Teo will be on fight night. As much as we can say he's back, he's dedicated, he's motivated, we don't know that we could see the Teo that show up on fight night all of a sudden not be anywhere close to the Teo that came up in the biggest moments possible. Because it's a possibility. The highs and lows of Teo are still volatile. They're still fresh in the mind. We don't know what can happen. We don't know we don't know what version of him is going to show up. Yeah, so all of this is somewhat speculation because of that particular uncertainty, which is completely understandable. Let me see. Truth. Also, if I didn't say hi to you already, Truth, how you doing? Good to see you. We're so happy that you're here. Let me see. He can outbox Shakur if he makes him uncomfortable and let his hands go. He's having a little more judicial with it. But yeah, if he can force Shakur into another Zepeda like brawl, I think he can get the better advantage. But how does he get Shakur to do that? How does he get him to do that? He's gotta match him, or at least be on the same pace with him, boxing wise, and then take it to him like you need to when you can. Let me see. Totally disagree. This is Al Booker. Totally disagree about the boxing. Not saying Teo cannot win. I'm saying he cannot outbox Shakur. Like I said, I respect it. I respect it. Again, I believe that Shakur is a better pure technical boxer. But I just feel that Teo can elevate to that same level because of what we've seen at the highest of heights with him. That's why I feel the way I feel with how closely matched this fight is. But if you don't think that Teo can outbox, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. That is perfectly A-okay. As a southpaw, as somebody who fights in the same style as given, or in a similar vein that has given Teo a lot of trouble, yes, he can absolutely walk away with this victory cleanly, like with what was I about to say? He can walk away with this fight cleanly, like you expect him to, if you think his boxing is just too much for Teo to overcome. Loma didn't throw a punch for literally 7 rounds. The moment he started throwing, he put hands all over Teo. Teo's power and his, not just power, but again, the timing that we talked about, caused Lomachenko had to be hesitant. Caused Lomachenko to have to go through and evaluate some things. He helped you, as Teo said in the interview, he made it so that Loma couldn't throw for the first 6 rounds. Now, because Loma was a supercomputer, once he got finally privy to the rhythm, the rhythm, the speed, and getting more acquainted with what Teo was looking for, made the adjustments, made the changes, and was able to go through and do what he does. Now, when Teo needed to fight back in the 11th and 12th round to win that fight, he did it. That 12th round more specifically was the fight that was the round that was going to decide that fight. And he beat him. He did beat him in that 12th round. He did. And so he was able to nullify what the elite sector of Lomachenko was for 6 rounds. Lomachenko, when he adapted, because he's a master adapter, was able to turn the fight around. That's a testament to his greatness. However, we had to look at this and say, if that same situation happens, where Shakur is not able to throw, where he is down by round 6, is why I asked earlier. If we see that same fight plan happen, and we see that it's a mirror image of that type of fight, can Shakur turn the fight around in that same way? If that's what takes place, it's a real question. And if he can, great. But if he can't, it could be a dangerous thing. Let me see. I just don't know, because I haven't seen Shakur fight the same competition as Teo. And it's a proving ground. We can talk all we want. Again, this is Shakur's biggest test. We've never seen him fight against somebody like Teofimo Lopez. Anybody of this caliber. We have the only similar vein of any comparable ability, though it's still drastically lower, is De Los Santos from the athletic perspective. Jamal Herring as the reigning champion at one, I believe what was it, 130? Oscar Valdez with the aggression at 130. Yoshino with the perceived knockout power that he had at 130 as well. Oh, it was at 135. Whichever one he moved up to fight against Yoshino at 135. We haven't seen him still fight against somebody that has all those attributes that everybody that Shakur's fought against had, on top of an abundance of extra. We haven't seen it. So it's unproven. So I get it. Don't feel bad to think, I don't know if Shakur can win or what he may look like against Teo because he hasn't faced somebody like Teo. That's not a cop-out answer. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's what makes it so unique. We're going to see Shakur have everything that we know about him tested in a way that has not been put to the test before, which is why I'm so excited. Because we could see the best version of Shakur that we've ever seen. This could be more than a breakout fight. This could be the culmination of everything that we've built up Shakur to be, come to fruition as a boxer who can take on multiple weight classes and be, of everybody that was at that 135 quote unquote graduating class, from the standpoint of from Tank or everybody who was associated with the 135 regime, Tank, Devin, Ryan, Teo, even upwards of Abdullah Mason, though he came along as a later addition, very young prospect. But amongst all of that regime that was seen as elite, we got potentially 4 people in here that can be considered the face of boxing at some point in time. We got all that. We can see a situation where that happens. We can see, we can see a situation where that occurs with Shakur being the guy to actually take that mantle, starting with this win over the likes of Teofimo Lopez. That rockets him up immensely in both talent and accolades, resume, cachet, marketability, notoriety, respect, in a way that others in this same division ain't got. So my gosh, it's going to be exciting to see. I can't wait for it. Josh Taylor was not a pure boxer. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Josh Taylor wasn't a pure boxer. I was saying that as an overarching rhetoric. No, he was still pound for pound level at that point in time. He was formerly undisputed champion prior to that fight with Teofimo Lopez, and was seen, especially off the backs of what Teo had with a abundance of struggles before that Josh Taylor fight. That was that comeback fight against somebody that, hey man, you may not be able to get to him. All of a sudden, blew him out the water. When it looked like, okay, Josh Taylor still is a bad, but well, not a pure boxer, you're absolutely right, but still I believe was a dangerous puncher and still is a at that point in time, would deserve to be seen as a very impressive figure. If I have my memory correct, I do apologize if I said that in the flow of the runner conversation. That's my fault. I'm sorry. Impressive win, but no, he was not just a straight up pure boxer, but he was really, really good nonetheless. But even still, that's a good one. Plus picking Cali because he's an A side, but that's a good. You know, that is a good fight. Cali Cole against Hart. That is going to be a really good fight. Absolutely. I'm trying to make sure I can read everybody. Man, on Teo's best day, he doesn't beat Shakur. Style matchup problem. Plus Shakur is a true top 10. Look, we're going to find out. That's the biggest thing. We're going to find out. That's what I'm excited for. We're going all of this. That's why this is selling like hotcakes in New York City, and people are clamoring to see this fight. They're clamoring for it because it's a worthy addition. It's a worthy situation I'm a dangerous bear. Let me see. Teo shut him out and might do it again. He might. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. If Teo, I'll pose this question, and I would love to see how you all feel. I'll pose it after I read these chats real quick. But I'm going to pose a question to y'all after I read the rest of these chats. Loma had a shoulder surgery. Coleman, no, he did. He's still. Now, granted, I didn't know that when he was in the ring. We found out afterwards. And if you watch, and that fight that still looked like Loma. Granted, he did get surgery, absolutely. I'm not nixing that against him. Same thing with Pacquiao. Pacquiao after the fight with Floyd Mayweather said he had to get surgery. I believe on his shoulder as well, or prior to that had surgery. He was still recovering over one of the two. Doesn't take away from the performance. Absolutely. I am not digressing with that at all. I say the same thing when Tank knocked out Ryan Garcia when Garcia had a rib injury. It doesn't take away from the fact that Tank did what Tank did to Ryan Garcia. It's the truth. He beat him and knocked him out. Virgil Ortiz beat Magimov even when Magimov was sick. Magimov was sick. But he still was able to figure out that herky-jerky style and waited for him to get tired and go through him and box him and then finally completely end him. Not knock him out, but, win that second half of the fight pretty handily. Though we still say the context, he was sick during that fight. So yes, absolutely, we apply context in the situation, but the performance is still incredible nonetheless. Excited for the fight. I will be there. Yep, you will. Tell us how your experience is when you get down. I would love to hear. And hey, spread the word about the show while you're there. Put everybody on board to the Welch Report, and we can get anybody get some passes so we can get so we can get down there. Try to get down to the press box and see if you can get some inside info. You can bring to the show and tell us about how the whole experience is, but be safe while you're down there. Absolutely. Let me see. Willie, what's going on, Willie Scott? Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. Let me see what you got to say. Shakur spars and learns from Bud Crawford, and this will be the difference in the fight. Teo will do nothing new that Shakur hasn't seen before. Now, that is a really interesting point, which we will almost assuredly touch on more so on Friday with the camp around Shakur, the minds around Shakur Stevenson, like with Terrence Crawford and others, that have him in essentially a constant cycle of downloading information with some of the greatest that we have in the sport. No question about that. It's not that he will not have seen anything new like this. It's the fact that it's the ability done in a fashion against somebody who athletically he has not had at this level, who has this type of skills. You can say, basketball, perfect example. Going through and going off a drive from a jab step. I believe, was it Jeff Teague? It was somebody. Guarding either John Wall or De'Aaron Fox. I think it was Jeff Teague. Pretty good player. Like, legit really good. Going through, and not all-star level, but, he was holding his own in the league. Could be a decent defender, all that stuff. He goes through when he gets to the NBA, still doing his own thing, goes up against De'Aaron Fox. The same move that he's been able to defend against everybody else. He'd seen it before. He couldn't do a thing against the likes of De'Aaron Fox or John Wall. Why? Because even though the blueprint was similar to what he had trained with and had battled against other opponents, and he knew how to beat it, the execution coupled with the athletic ability was so advanced, even though it was the same move. They were left in the dust. The same jab step rip through. Same thing, going through first step off the jab, pop, and then going out. Couldn't defend it. Got torched for 30, I believe. We're left on an island. It's not always just because of the fact that you've seen the same thing before. Somebody can do the same thing, but that added physical difference makes their same stuff overtly harder to stop than everybody else. Makes it so hard to stop. That's what James Toney dealt with it when he fought against Roy Jones Jr. It's not the fact that James Toney hadn't seen people that were athletic before or knew how to go and mirror somebody and stifle them and be able to counter like he normally does. It's the fact that when Roy Jones made those changes, he was so smart as well as so gifted physically that he made what should have been a stoppable offensive move unstoppable, just like that. Why? Because he has that extra oomph to him in a physical vein that makes everything that he does on a technical level so much harder to deal with, even if you know it's coming. That's what we can see Shakur deal with Teo. In a package that he's never faced off against before, with even better athletic ability and speed than De Los Santos, but the same technical or similar technical expertise as even his own self. It can be not will be, but it can be a problem. You may be surprised as to how he has to deal with it once he faces against it. You may think you know what you can do. When you get in the ring, it's completely different. It gets the same move. Because it's a different guy doing it, and this guy has something extra that makes this same thing so much harder to stop. That's why this fight's something that Shakur's going to need to be really, really watching out for. It's not a guarantee of anything, but it is a fact of the matter that the same package doesn't look the same, nor does it act the same, coming from different people, from an offensive perspective. So, Teo's going to be something different. Even though he's got Crawford in him, they know what to do. But doing it against them, it's like with anything, it's a different frame of mind. When we're dealing with this level of athletic prowess on top of technical savantism, at least in my estimation. At least that's how I feel. But let me see. I'm not a fanboy of either. Just a realist in boxing and a fan of you and a fan like you. Hey, look. We all are. We love the discourse. I'm not denying. We want you to feel how you feel. Because you bring up more stuff that we can dissect. This is a different thing. It's a different vein, different avenue, different dilemma that somebody may have to deal with, a different frame of reference that we're going to have to reevaluate this fight with. All of that can come with you being a fan, for or against anybody. We want this type of conversation because it's really good. And listen, bro, I'm pretty sure you can get a press pass. I don't think they give them to everybody. I think you have to have a certain level of notoriety to be given press passes. You might be able to pay for them. I'm not sure. I ain't got the funds to pay for one if I wanted one. But in terms, now we love one. But in terms of just giving them out, I think you got to have some level of bigger rapport. And we're getting there all with you and your support. We are going to get there. Absolutely. I'm getting to you tickets for next time. Like I said, I'm from the Carolinas. If you want me to come through, hey, look, hey, y'all can. We got a chat goal even right here. If y'all want to go through and help support the next venture to go out into a meeting and greeting the public out in the world of boxing, hey, feel free. Support and donate. We'll take your money. We'll take your money. It's just jokes. Just jokes and having fun, but we're gonna earn our keep. And we're gonna make it out of one of these events. Mark my words. And it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna meet with you all as we continue to grow and thrive. I guarantee you. I promise. Let me see. Murtala, no, I'm sorry. I think I've been pronouncing his name wrong. Is it Murataya? It's not Murtala. I want to say Murataya. Murataya. I think that's actually how you say it. But either way, you got Murataya beating Cruz. Well, we can actually talk about that right now because now we're going into the world of the championship rounds. That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 minutes to an hour. We done blew through everything that we had to cover. Which was initially an abundance of things, but SHAKUR took over. And I love it. So I appreciate it. So now we can jump right into the world of the championship rounds, 30 minutes to an hour, letting you all say whatever you want to say, letting your voice be heard, letting your voice be seen, letting your opinions, thoughts on anything, movie, sports, television, video games, NBA, NFL, boxing, on any regard. We want to hear from you on any topics of discussion, as we can also talk about this stuff over the weekend. So we want to hear everything you all got to say right here, right now, for the public to see. So with all that being said, hey, it's time to get ready. It's time to make this show your own. It's time to jump into the world of the championship rounds. Come on, let's get it started. Yes, indeed. Let's get it popping. Yes, sir. Here we go. Championship rounds on the end, or as we near the end of our show today. Let me see. Willie Scott, great analogy, but SHAKUR has elite defense and will take away what T.O. does best and will force T.O. to fight a different way. I have no doubt that will happen. Absolutely. I have no doubt that will happen. It's just the fact of the matter that taking away one game plan from T.O. doesn't negate what T.O. can do because of the deep bag that T.O. has. This is another reason why this fight is so hard to gauge. TEOFIMO Lopez has a deeper assortment of ways to win than SHAKUR Stevenson. TEOFIMO Lopez has a more diverse means of game plan in a multitude of ways than SHAKUR Stevenson. It does not mean that he's better or worse. That's not an outright engagement on whether or not that means that, okay, you're outright better. But he can do more. And he can fight well. We've seen he can fight well in multiple different types of situations, more so than SHAKUR Stevenson, who is a one-way type of game, or two-way type of game plan from the most recent fight with Zepeda, as well as his entire career before Zepeda. He's got two game plans, and you know what's gonna be, but he does it so well you can't stop it, or rather you can't break through it. Both of those are great in their own right. It's like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's got a deeper bag, or Kyrie Irving has a deeper bag than most players in the NBA. In history, from the standpoint of what they can do offensively on the floor. As a point guard, as a passer, as a scorer, as a post player. Footwork, getting to the hoop, three-point shooting. Off the drive, left hand, right hand, floaters, turnarounds, hop steps, spin jumpers, spin layups. Isolation, pick and roll. Everything you want him to do, he can do at a high level. Though Kevin Durant, though he doesn't have as deep of a bag, it's still incredibly great. But you can't stop what he does, regardless of what you try to do. Now, might have been a bad analogy because, yes, Kevin Durant is objectively a better player than Kyrie Irving, both now and all time. But the conversation of deep bag doesn't equate to outright you're better applies in the same situation. And so it's not about just stopping T.O. in one vein. You can stop what he does best at, and he's still good at so many other things that you can't nullify him fully. You can still find a way to do it in other ways. That's where it's going to be very interesting to see how stuff can go through. But let me see. Also, Majimov is back. We need to see that fight between him and Boots. Yeah, he is back now. So if that does indeed come down the pipeline, it might not sell as much, but it would be incredibly interesting to see how, in fact, Boots could handle that type of test. I'll be very interested to see that. Who you got, Ortiz or Davis? I have Keyshawn Davis beating Jermaine Ortiz. I do. But I'm stingy because I don't know how exactly his style is going to change under the tutelage of a new coach that is not Bomac. That's my biggest concern. But if everything is still the same, I got Keyshawn Davis beating Jermaine Ortiz in that fight. Let me see who wins. Abdullah Mason versus O'Shaquie Foster. And when Foster moves up to 135, so I'm going to say Abdullah Mason for two reasons. One, Abdullah Mason, by the time O'Shaquie Foster does move up, I think he'll be more seasoned. And two, O'Shaquie Foster, and part of why he looked good, so good against Stephen Fulton, wasn't just because of Stephen Fulton's ineptitude at 135. He didn't belong there. But also, the discrepancy in reach for that 1-2 jab that was so damaging and so consistent. It wasn't happening, or it's not going to happen in that same vein against Abdullah Mason. And plus, Abdullah will not just be stuck on the outside. He took punches against Sam Noakes. Crazy enough was able to actually walk through him. Ridiculous. Doesn't need to do that often, but he can take that power. He's got the hand speed to rival O'Shaquie Foster, and his damage, I think, can be even worse. Though we know O'Shaquie looked phenomenal, by the time O'Shaquie does face Foster, I do believe, by the time O'Shaquie Foster does face Abdullah Mason, I do believe Abdullah's going to be elevated to a new level in his young career. And he's going to be too much because that power and that reach that O'Shaquie Foster had that made him look so good against Fulton, he's not going to be there against the likes of Abdullah Mason. I don't think it's going to be there in that same demonstrative way. Because Abdul's got the tools not just to match it, but to clear it with his own ability and his own prowess and power. I believe that. So I think I got Abdullah Mason beating O'Shaquie Foster when O'Shaquie moves up to 135. I truly do. But let me see. Shakur got to keep the fight in the middle of the ring. That's true. That's true. Give himself room to move and to keep that vein of infinity. From the standpoint of that infinity barrier, where you might only be an inch away from him, but you can't reach him. You gotta make sure you keep off the ropes, because if you get on the ropes against Teofimo Lopez, it's not gonna be the same work that you were able to do against the likes of Williams Zepeda. You got a better inside fighter you're dealing with that is more destructive, got more pop. You don't want that. Don't want that at all, because it can be dangerous. Let me see. Jago Towers, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in the show. So happy that you're here with us on today. Let me see. Can T.O. KO Shakur? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. And a flip on the question in the title of in the thumbnail. Yeah. The issue is not whether we think Shakur can knock out Teofimo Lopez or that T.O. can knock out Shakur. Most people feel if T.O. does land flush, he can hurt and knock out Shakur Stevens. We truly, I truly do feel it. From a standpoint of power, yes, the knockouts may look the same, but we've watched their entire career. It is clear that T.O. is a better puncher. That's not a question. In my mind, that's not a question. What is the question of, can he catch him? If he does catch him, yeah, of course. I think T.O. can knock him out clean. I do. I think Shakur has a better chin than people may realize, but I do think he'll knock him out if he does catch him in that type of event. I was asking if Shakur could knock him out because does Shakur have the hand speed to land the same type of punch that Kambosos landed? Naked, with no setup, to where it caught T.O. off guard to the point that he got knocked down. That's the type of punch that's gonna get his respect. But he's gonna need to land it. I don't know if he's got the excuse me. I don't know if he has the hand speed to land that type of knockout punch. Because every time he has landed 30 shots, and every time he sat down on his punches are not fast, but they're sharp. But you need speed, in my opinion, to hurt and put down Teo. A type of speed that I don't think SHAKUR has. Hand speed wise, I don't think he has. Now, if you feel that way, again, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. That the one thing that is good in the great repertoire of SHAKUR Stevenson is his hand speed. There's a bunch of people that got faster hands than him at 135 and 140. But it's the timing and sharpness. But he's going to need that type of speed to land that type of shot. If I want to believe that, okay, yeah, he can knock him out or knock him down. I don't think he's got that. That's why I don't think knocking him out is going to be a likely scenario. But if I get proven wrong, like I said, I'll get proven wrong. Ain't no problem with that. No problem with that at all. Now, let me see. I'm going to Greenville, North Carolina. Oh, hey, Greenville? You going to Greenville, NC? Oh, dang. Is that close? I don't even know if that's close to me or not. I'm not good with road maps. I can't remember if that's close to me. But hey, welcome to the South. You're going to enjoy it down here. I guarantee it. Let me see. Diego Towers, better sentence. Is it going to be boring? Teo versus okay. All right. Okay. Now we get into the real question. Is it going to be boring? As much as we can talk about this fight, is it going to be a boring display between two of the pound-for-pound best boxers in the land? People are thinking that it's going to be, all this talent is going to be very methodical. From a technical perspective, everybody is excited to see from a pure pugilistic perspective. Everybody wants to see this fight. But from an entertainment value, everybody's scared it's going to bore the paint off the wall. Because if Teo don't throw and SHAKUR don't throw, nobody's punching. I give it away. This the worst thing that this can be. Round one. Hey, we got some problems. Everybody's booing. Boo. 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 That's all you. Boo. Boo. Do something. All this cheering turns to jeering. Get him out of here. We pay good money for this. What's going on? Somebody throw. Ref's gonna have to get in the center of the ring. Yo, we paid for a fight. Fight. Somebody make a move. Somebody do something. That's what I don't want that to be the case. Lord knows. Good gosh. I don't want to talk about it because I'm scared that that's gonna happen. That we're gonna see a fight where everybody says this was worst. This was worse than waiting in line at the DMV. This was worse than trying to go into the garage, go into an auto parts shop. Just sitting away from our stuff to get recalibrated. This was worse than waiting on cooking for Thanksgiving. It's horrible. I don't want that to be the case. Good gosh. I hope it ain't boring. If it's boring, if this fight's boring, SHAKUR's going to be, it's going to be bad for SHAKUR. Oh gosh. It's going to be so bad for SHAKUR. Rhetoric-wise, people are going to hate that brother. They're going to hate him. They're going to despise that cat. If it gets that bad for SHAKUR, where people are booing because you ain't moving, it's going to be terrible. I hope it don't happen. Lord knows. Over this time. Let me see. Another question is, will SHAKUR hands hold up? That's another one. That's with the mind you, sometimes SHAKUR goes into that elbow block, that kind of modified high guard, where he got his elbow out, right hand up or left hand up, whatever hand he wants to do. If you didn't know, elbow block is a real block in boxing, where you use your elbow to catch the punch of the opponent, and you can potentially break their knuckle because they punch right on the bone. Next thing you know, dislocated. Now they can't use it. that grip, that type of defense can be something. So it's amazing. Not getting Shakur had surgery. He was able to hold up with almost 800 punches thrown collectively against Williams Zepeda. I want to say that answered questions on whether or not his hands can hold up, but it can still be brittle at the drop of a hat. So it's a dangerous sentiment to look out for. It is. Let me see. Chiefs rehired Eric Bieniemy. Will this revitalize the offense and recharge the dynasty? I want to say no. It's not just Bieniemy that they to help make stuff better. No, to help. One is Travis Kelce getting back to prime form, and two, you need, as great as Patrick Mahomes is, even though we've seen a decline, and that O-line over the course of the last couple, especially this year, hasn't been of the same peak that allows Mahomes to work like he needs to work. We've got to see them get a definitive, dominant number one wide receiver. The dynasty in part was made because Tyreek Hill was there. That deep threat that he was maximized the ability of the weapon that was Patrick Mahomes' arm and accuracy. Without that, yes, they've gotten deep in the playoffs. Yes, they still gotten to a Super Bowl. I'm not denying it. I'm saying what helped to make them that dominant wasn't just the offensive identity that Bieniemy and Eric Reid and all them helped to make. It was that the organization made, excuse me. But it was those threats, that three-headed monster of competition that helped to fully open up what the likes of Patrick Mahomes has been able to do. If they can get that dynamic again. I said the same thing with Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, one of the biggest things about them, every year they've had success has been because of two reasons. Their defense has been top 10 and their running game has been top 5 in the NFL. Every time that's the case, they have gone and done phenomenal work with deep postseason runs and championship opportunities. Whether it was Andrew Williams or Jonathan Stewart, Stephen Davis, even as recently as Christian McCaffrey, when it was looking like stuff was on the way up. And then the defense first it was John Beeson, then it was Rucker, then it was Jenkins, Julius Peppers, and then Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, Captain Mutterland, all those types of people. Josh Norman, that identity made them what they were and consistently helped to give us the biggest opportunity for success. Chiefs is the same way, but they've kept on missing that big aspect, at least to me. So it can help, but they need a dominant wide receiver for their offense to be what it used to be. Gotta have it, as well as the O-line. And get Travis Kelce back. Now, Bieniemy can help. Can get the game plan back still, but it won't work as flawlessly, in my opinion, up until they get that core or a core similar to that back together. So until they do, they can be better, but I don't think they'll get back to what they were unless they get that formula back again. At least for me, in my estimation. Let me see. Y2J, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in with us. Salute to you. Any thoughts on Zayas versus Abbas Abuayu? I think Zayas is going to win. Okay. I have him winning. However, I don't have Zayas knocking out Abuayu. I don't have him working with the greatest of ease and beating Abbas. I think he's going to be it's going to be harder than he thinks. And his unification effort. Though we can say Abbas may be seen as the weakest champion in the division right now from a notoriety standpoint. Sure. That man will give you a time and a half to try to match him in stamina and relentless pressure. That is something that I do not see the likes of Zayas being able just to completely walk through or be A-okay with just, all this pressure ain't nothing to me. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. And he's going to be pushed. I can promise you, he's going to be pushed. He's going to be pushed immensely in that fight. But I have him coming out on top. But don't be surprised if all of a sudden we looking at Zayas and saying, oh my gosh, but you got pushed to the brink. But I got Zayas winning that fight, in my opinion. Let me see. Who should the Browns hire as head coach, and who should they hire as QB coach to elevate Shador's standard? Well, one, they need to make it known, first and foremost, that Shador is starting next year. This season was laden with so many pitfalls and management moves to try to dissuade Shador from being able to be the caliber of QB that he could be. Mind you, should have been drafted that low, number one. And two, was outperforming all QBs in training camp. QB gets, they hired Joe Flacco to have him start over him. We got to see the Flacco show one more time. He goes out. Then they go and try to do, what's his name? The name eludes me at this point in time. But the other brother who they were trying to push as the starter, that was Stefanski's guy. All the opportunity in the world. They couldn't do a thing. Didn't go through, and he gets hurt. Finally, Shador gets the opportunity. Mind you, put in a bad situation, understandable, even though Myles Garrett was having an incredible year defensively. This isn't me saying that he was perfect. This ain't me saying this brother was coming through and was the fifth best QB in the world. No. But there was a stark shift in everything involving that team and their persona of themselves as a unit on both sides of the spectrum when we finally got to see Shador get the reins. There's something there with Shador that if you build not just an offense, but a regime that will support him, you can make the Browns something legitimately dangerous. You put the same type of people from the standpoint of pieces around Shador that you put around Baker Mayfield. When you had Nick Chubb, though Nick Chubb was injured, though you had Nick Chubb in the running game, though you had one more time it was even Josh Gordon that you had as a wide receiver, but even still, before the whole the weed situation, and now it's literally up in smoke because it's legal now. It's insane his career got cut short, but regardless of which, had one of the best offenses in the league, and he couldn't get it done. In part because of the Browns organization, but also, yes, because he, at that point in time, wasn't able to be what he was or is now with the Bucs. Shador can you put that type of talent in a coach that will trust him. Sky's the limit. Now, who that coach is, not exactly sure. That's the issue. Because it's the Browns. At this point, you need somebody that's willing to fight against the organization, as well as not just put their foot down, but be driven to want to make this team not just great, but stick through the long haul. It's gonna be a hard time. Anybody who takes the head coaching job, I don't know who would fit best for this Browns team. Sadly, as of right now, I can't say. I got some ideas. Anybody except for Stefanski, thank the Lord. But I can't tell who would be a perfect fit. It just had to be somebody that would be willing to come through and take a stand against what management or higher ups within the organization would want to do and say, we're going to run this team the way that is best fit to win. That means Shador. That means beefing up not just an O-line that I think they've already paid a bunch of money for, but also giving him a trust in, we're going to make an offense that accentuates his ability as a passer. And we're not going to give him a platform to fail. Who that is, I don't know, but it's got to be somebody worthwhile. Because if they don't, you're going to waste what should be a franchise-level QB. You're going to waste it. And they'll go back to the draft again, and it's going to be a whole other cycle, and it's going to be bad. Real sign's going to be if we see this year the Browns go and try to take somebody else at QB again. They try to say, oh, this is the actual guy. Knowing them, they just might. Who knows? That organizations love them, but my gosh, they are horrible. They are indeed terrible. It's a shame. Let me see. Who wins? Arizona Lara or Carlos Adames? Crazy enough, I don't want to bet against Lara. Crazy enough, but I want to see. I would love to see Adames get a championship at 160. But I don't want to bet against Lara still being able to retain his dominance. With his, again, still carrying power, with his defensive ability, with his evolved skill set, even at the age of 40, was he 42, almost 43? That's a good fight. That pressure and Joe Frazier-esque kind of fighting style that we see Adames have, especially when he fought against when he was against Hamza Shiraz, which he should have won that fight. Again, drastically change the outcome and make it so that Lara, strictly because of time, might be in over his head for, okay, yes, he might be able to get you an upper. But as of right now, I'm going to stick to the Aegis Wonder. Because I want to see how long this road can go. I want to see how long this road can go. I'm going to pick Lara. And if I'm wrong, hey, Father Time finally won. So let me see. Can OKC win 70 games? Record is 37-8. They can. It'll most likely be 65, 66. I don't think it'll be 70. Only because they've had some problems with J-Dub coming back in the lineup. Now, granted, I think SJ just had an efficient 44 points, 16 and 19 from the field. I think what was it, two for three from three. Almost no turnovers outright. Insane game, showing why he's still arguably the best player in the world right now. But it's between him and Jokic. I get it. They look still unstoppable, and they are drastically head and shoulders above most of the NBA. I don't think that they get to 70 games though. Now, if they do, it'll be impressive. We said they were going to get to 63, and we said they were going to beat 73-9. They're one loss away from that being, 2 losses away from being not possible. And then the All-Star break's getting ready to happen. I don't think that they're going to get to 70, but I do think that they'll get to 65. But there is some trepidation because of this J-Dub insertion not having the same flow and feel like it did last year. With him when he was out, they were performing so well, and then now he's back. Stuff it's not as fluid per se. And teams are starting to figure out their offensive identity a little bit. They're getting a little bit better. They still getting beat. But it's starting to get a little bit more flushed out beyond just the Spurs. That teams are a little bit more comfortable. Okay, how do we stop this juggernaut? There is a hard blueprint, but there is a blueprint. It ain't easy because they have about everything that you would need. But because of that, I don't, and because with the history injuries with like some Chet Holmgren, potentially JW aggravating that injury again and going out, or anybody for that matter getting injured this season, which most likely is going to happen. I'm not wishing it, just saying it's reality. Yeah, most likely we ain't going to see them get to 70. But it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I guarantee you it's going to be incredibly close. And so I can't wait to say, and they're still favorites to win the championship. They are. But I'm telling you right now, that Spurs roster in their third year is looking like if it was a team that we did not want to see OKC face off against going into the conference finals out west, it would be the Spurs. That's the one team where if I was to pick anybody to beat them in a 7-game series, it's the Spurs right now. Second best record in the NBA. Looking like a juggernaut. That De'Aaron Fox trade, one of the best moves they could have made. Victor Wembanyama having, if he's able to be healthy, being the anchor and the unstoppable force, as well as the immovable object that this entire team revolves around. My gosh, man, it's scary. It's scary. There's a real opportunity that this year. I'll say it right now. There's an opportunity right now that this year could be the year that we see the Spurs get back to the finals. I don't say that in a hyperbole. I don't say that in a hyperbolic manner. This year could be the year that we see the Spurs get back to the finals and potentially win it. If we see OKC falter any more than we've seen them this year, by the time the playoffs come around, and they actually do meet against each other, yeah, watch. Mark my words. We could see the Spurs get back to the finals this year. I kid you not. In Wemby's third season, they're that dominant. They're that dominant right now, man. They are that dominant. Let me see. Noah Lyles will be past his prime during 2020 Olympics. Who will beat him? Brian Lavelle from Jamaica. Leslie Taboga from Botswana. Both will be in their prime. Now, see, I got some family that run track. I try to catch track when I can. I'm not as in tune with the track world as I would like to be. I will say that. Primarily, this is boxing, NBA, NFL that we can cover, the most dominant things. But I will say this. Noah Lyles, I don't believe, can carry the regime of dominance that he had going into the Olympics last year, 2 years ago, from all the other championship leagues that he was in, running into, prepping for the Olympics. That run, I think, is over. Now, he's still gonna be top 3, most likely top 5. But he ain't gonna be what we saw. That ain't happening again. That decline. I can guarantee you right now, he will not be the fastest man in the world next year, or by the time 2028 comes around. Not because he ain't great, not because he can't run. That peak with who's coming behind him, yeah, no, he can't sustain that. I don't think he can. It ain't because I'm a hater. It ain't because I got something against him. Even though what he said about the world championship stuff got under everybody's skin, he was trying to say it to be like, oh, y'all ain't, he wasn't saying it as a slight, but he was saying it as a slight to other sports. He was. But guarantee you, that prime is not lasting next year. Or shoot, all right. By 2028, it's not lasting. He's gonna be done. Let me see. He can be. He has too much because I said the guru spoke. One more primary player and they can win. Castle almost ready, but he, like a Jalen Green, a year behind in development. Also, Teddy Berkshire, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. And also, we're talking about this because it is the championship rounds. Like I said, you all can talk about anything and everything under the sun. NBA, NFL, boxing, all that stuff. You can talk about whatever you want to discuss right now in the last 30 minutes to an hour of this show. I think we got 5 minutes left as we're getting ready to come up on 2 hours and 30 minutes. But, no, you're right. One more primary player and they can win. Castle, he about ready. I actually, for me, as a all-around offensive and defensive player, I would argue he's not past the ability of Jalen Green offensively. Understandable. But defensively, he's a lot better. Whole lot better. whole lot more locked in, on ball and off ball. At least from what I've seen from a discipline standpoint. And even offense, we're seeing him be a more, what's the word? Fundamental scorer. And by that I mean, Jalen Green, the flash, the hops, he can be a shot creator, very good at getting to the hoop, high elevation, able to body control as well. Stephen Castle got some of those same traits with the hops, the levitation. I mean, everybody can sky, but he's a more judicial scorer. He can, you give him the range, he can go. But he's not going to recklessly shoot you out the game or go off in a way that will take away from the other offensive players around the floor. He won't do that. Because of that, and because of that, again, that Spurs culture, cultivated by Greg Popovich, coupled with the idea that we are not going to get away from our foundation of rooted success, which is Wemby. Everybody still eats while not taking away from the biggest plate on the table. See what I'm saying? Just like with the Spurs back in the day, Tim Duncan was the cornerstone. David Robinson was the cornerstone. Everybody ate, but they never took away from David. Jalen Green, one of the biggest issues, he could eat, but he took away to some degree what Şengün could do when he was on the Rockets. It took away to some degree of what some of the other offensive players on the Rockets were able to do. Because yes, he he was one of the biggest scorers. At one point in time, he was the best player on that team at one point in time before he got shipped off. But his offensive ability took away to some degree the others that were around. Couldn't get to a flow, couldn't get to the same rhythm. Everybody felt in a way cold to some degree because he's an isolation player. It's not bad, but that's how he was. But on the team that he was on, it didn't work. Wemby, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Vassell, as a core four of scorers, all are able to complement each other, and all of them can eat without taking away from what Wemby is supposed to be on offense. And they make life easy defensively because they're responsible and they give effort and don't just rely that Wemby can stop whatever gets in the paint. So I don't got to try. That's what makes that they're bought in and are all in on both accounts of the floor. That's what makes this team so dangerous. That's what makes this team so special. That's why I say they don't need another piece. It can be done as soon as this year that they get to a championship. I'm telling you. If it ain't, it's gonna be close. I promise you, it's gonna be close. This ain't me. This ain't just hype. Substance is showing me they got something in the same way that OKC got, but in a different vein. They're right on the heels of the best team in the NBA right now. All they got to do is keep on running and just stay healthy. And one slip up from OKC puts them out. That's how scary this team is. I can't. That's why the playoffs can't come soon enough, man. It's so exciting. It is so exciting. Let me see. Oblique Seville beat Noah Lyles 3 times in the 100. Yep, he did beat him in the 100 last year, and is currently the world's fastest man. I'm telling you, that prime that he enjoyed, you better enjoy it for a while. You better enjoy it for a while. Because come 2028, boy, Jamaica and a couple other countries, they got some dogs coming behind them. And I'm not saying Lyles ain't driven, but I am saying, Lyles, we saw you slip up enough. We saw you slip up enough to know, oh, okay, yeah. You ain't get lucky. You did win. But be glad you ran when you ran. Because it's about to get really sketchy really quick. Let me see. Agreed. I'm just saying as a name and a number. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Absolutely. Also, hold on. Willie Scott, wait a minute. Oh, we got paid. Oh, well, I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. We got paid. Wait a second. Willie Scott, with the 20. I'm so sorry. I was reading the chats. Going through, I didn't even recognize the super chat. My body, how you doing? Thank you for the $20 super chat on the day. Today we got paid. Yes, sir. This show was not in vain. My gosh. This is great. This is wonderful. We appreciate it so much. I do. I appreciate you being willing to go and give alms to the empire. I think this is the biggest straight up collective chat we've ever gotten on this show. I think the most we had was 15 euros. Was it 9 euros? I think that's what $12 or pounds, whatever the word it is. Euros or pounds. I don't know my metrics. I just know we got paid, and I believe this is the biggest amount that we've ever gotten. So hey, Willie Scott, thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Yes, you have helped supporting this show in a very big way, and it means the world to me, man. I absolutely, the fact that you think that this show is worthwhile enough to invest in, hey, I appreciate it. I really, really do. And it helps the show out immensely. If anybody else who wants to give, it helps the show out immensely. Whether it's Cash App or PayPal, or with links down in the description, as well as through YouTube itself with super chats, gifts, and stickers, helps this show to be able to invest in equipment, stuff like this background and posters and all this stuff to help liven up the viewing and listening experience, all for you to be able to enjoy the show, as well as to help me pay some bills around the house, because this is what I love to do. Want to make this my living, and so without you all, this show is nothing. Just as a minimum, just you being here is enough for me. So I appreciate it so much. Again, Willie Scott and everybody else who has given and wants to give, or just sitting around and looking at the show, we appreciate you. All of you help make this so possible and help make this so incredible. So thank you for the $20 chats. Thank you for everybody tuning in. And we getting ready to do what? Last call. It's about what? Yeah, we had the 2 hour, 33-minute mark. So last call, real quick. Last call. So we're going to try to keep with the time. Last call of anything that we're going to want to discuss on today, whether it's boxing, basketball, football, or anything else that I can discuss that you all have questions on. We can talk about it before. We're going to do the last couple chats, and we're going to give you a second to say your last pieces, and then we're going to be ready for tomorrow afternoon for a full show of nothing but championship rounds, where you control the whole conversation for the entirety of this show, where you all drive everything that we say on Friday afternoon, same time, same place, same channel. Absolutely. But let me see. It's San Antonio discipline. Yeah, it don't leave, and that's what makes them so impeccable. That's what makes them so incredible. That's what makes them so hard to beat. Now, I will say a sleeper opportunity that Spurs may struggle against could be Nikola Jokic and that Nuggets squad with Jamal Murray maybe getting back to form like he used to be, with one of the most dominant sidekicks that this league had seen over the past couple of years. Yes, he's been on a decline, I understand, and yes, they lost some pieces like Michael Porter Jr., but still, Nikola Jokic is a man who washes away every single sin that a team may have because of his excellence and execution in every single regard. Still, arguably, you can be put as the best or second best player in the world today. If you have SGA as the first, he can still give any team by himself a run for his money. So we got to look out for that. Also with the Houston Rockets going through and coming up with the likes of KD and Şengün, still being a very offensively dominant squad. I didn't think they were going to work without a PG, let alone with I believe it's Amen Thompson, essentially running point for that team. Lo and behold, they started off season putting boot to butt, giving OKC for running for their money at the start of the year in the first game of the season, going through, didn't having a tear offensively throughout the year. Yes, they cooled off, but still, what are they? I believe they were fifth, or if I got my rankings correctly, I believe they're around that fifth or sixth spot in the Western Conference right now, just ahead of the Suns, if I have my standings correctly. Let me check real quick to make sure I'm on. Make sure that I'm on the right track with those metrics. If I'm wrong, like I said, I do apologize. That's why we check. That's why we fact check what we say to make sure that we good. Yeah. They're fourth in the West right now, right above Los Angeles and above Phoenix, 26 wins, 15 losses, nine games behind OKC. So it's and right as of this moment, got not even arguably. I think they got the second highest points per game in the entire. No, I'm sorry, third. Is it third? Was it 1, 2? No, not third. It is the fourth highest. 17.6, 19.5. Okay, excuse me. Not third. It's between the 10th and 12th best offense in the league. My apologies. I was I forgot that we had Minnesota averaging 21 points a game. OKC averaging 21 points as well. And so, actually, oh shoot. Minnesota 7th. Shoot, I thought they were 6th. Dang. That's a shock to me. They dropped since the last time I checked the cent. But regardless of which, we won't miss too much time on trying to get with the nitpicks of the NBA. Just know, Houston's a threat. Minnesota can get back to being a top threat. And the Spurs right now are the biggest X factor in this entire division that everybody sees is coming the way of champions in the next year or two, and I do think it's going to be this year. I strongly believe. Let me see. Willie Scott's gonna love to the best commentary on YouTube. Hey, look, he is. Everybody is. Like I said, y'all are being so spectacular, and I do appreciate it so much. Even if you can't give, just you being here means the world to me. We're not gonna beg and plead. We're going to earn our keep. Sure, I want to get paid, but I care about your experience first and foremost. So hopefully I'm making it worth your while. That's all I can ask for. And that's all I can try to bring to the table. So I'm doing the best I can, and I appreciate you showing love and support on this channel, because without you, this show is nothing. Whether you give or not, without you, this show is nothing. So you all make this empire great, so I appreciate it so much. But let me see. Willie Scott, last chat of the show before we get on out of here, because like I said, this is the last call. Is Virgil Ortiz ducking Boots Ennis with negotiation antics and pricing himself out by asking for $10 million? So at this point in time, the blame has shifted from Virgil Ortiz to Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya now is the issue as to why this fight is not happening. Not Virgil Ortiz. Let's be clear. That does not mean that Virgil Ortiz wasn't at fault at a point in time. But here's the truth. That he was originally, Virgil, or rather Boots, wasted time coming up at 154. Boots got to 154. Boots then went and stepped in front of Virgil. Both of them said yes. Virgil said, I would love to fight Spence next. That was problematic. He called him a duck, rightfully so. Goes through, and then afterwards, Virgil goes silent. Virgil Ortiz goes silent. Manager speaks out, saying that we thought he was the one that was dissuading this fight, because he was saying a bunch of stuff that was making this fight look more out of pocket. Then started posting on Instagram saying we got some stuff brewing. Something's about to be confirmed. Allegedly, that's what he was pushing towards. Then Oscar De La Hoya started stepping up and saying, hey, I want this, and this. Making demands. Speaking for Virgil Ortiz. Saying all this stuff, 60-40 split, 10% to the winner. I'm not moving off that offer. Eddie, come find me. Afterwards, we then see Virgil Ortiz and his manager say, hey, wait a minute. We didn't give a hard stop to these negotiations. We did not say that this was a hard cap, that this is what we were asking for. We still want to negotiate past this Oscar De La Hoya headline. We have not stopped talking. Do not think we have stopped talking. We still want to try to make this fight. Oscar then proceeds to keep on going through and saying, hey, I'm trying to get the best money for you and your fighter. You're messing up for me. You need to get out of my way. I'm trying to make you the A side like you deserve. Then subsequently afterwards, Virgil Ortiz sues to get out of the contract with Oscar De La Hoya under the pretense that because because Golden Boy's contract with the Zone is up, and you have been directly responsible for impeding potential funds by stifling talks when we said they shouldn't be stifled, you have voided our contract, hence we can leave. So, we're going. That is where we stand right now with this Virgil Ortiz situation. Because of that most recent development, it is now wholeheartedly confirmed, at least for me, the main issue as to why this fight is not happening is not Boots Ennis, is not Virgil Ortiz, it is not Virgil's manager, it is Oscar De La Hoya. Because if it wasn't, Virgil Ortiz would not be trying to get out of his deal. I guarantee you, if Virgil Ortiz wins this case and gets out of this contract, he will be, but before the month is over, he will have signed, renegotiated, and then have a fight announced within the same month that he signed with somebody else. Preferably signs with Canelo's personal promotion, because Canelo is having a promotion. Don't be surprised if if this legislation, or rather if this situation with De La Hoya and Virgil Ortiz ends in court, Virgil wins the case, Virgil gets out of his contract, do not be surprised if within the month he signs with Canelo Alvarez and Canelo Promotions. And then within the months to come, before September, we see we see Virgil versus Boots on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez, who is fighting for a championship in Mexico versus the world. Don't be surprised if that's what happens. Do not be surprised at all if that's what happens. Don't be surprised at all. Be on the lookout. And really, that could be the better stage we've ever seen. You may not be able to headline. Guess what? You on a bigger picture. Virgil Ortiz versus Boots as the co-main event for a Canelo headline fight in what should be a huge stadium affair. All eyes on you. This is almost better than if we saw Canelo, or if we saw Boots and Virgil just have a standalone fight. We'll have more anticipation for that fight than we will for the Canelo return. Whoever that is, whether it's against Iglesias, which again he turned down, or anybody at 168. It'll be a situation like with Brian Omer Jr. going up against Devin Haney. We cared more about that fight than the headliner of Benavidez versus Yard. That's the fight that stole the headlines. Because of not just the performance, but because of the buildup, the acclaim, the beef. With how much we've been talking about Virgil Ortiz and Boots, I guarantee you it would make all the sense in the world to have that fight happen as the co-main event for a Canelo Alvarez headline card for a championship. It would make all the sense in the world. It would mean so much more, especially for the cachet of Boots Ennis on that stage to take the world by storm against a brother that now everybody's saying you might be able to beat him, because the people around Virgil Ortiz apparently don't think that Boots can beat, or that Virgil can beat Boots. They don't think he can beat him as confidently as Virgil may feel he can beat Boots, or else they wouldn't be moving in the way that they've been moving. Oscar De La Hoya and others. So what a way to put a crescendo on this entire affair than to have a fight that steals the show from one of the biggest names in sport right now, in Canelo. What a way. The connections are there. You sparred with Canelo. You had some swelling on Canelo's face. You've seen what Crawford could do to you, or what Crawford could do to Canelo, and you've experienced it firsthand. More than hold your own, you now feel you can take on the world. Everybody's behind you. Everybody wants to see this fight. And everybody wants to see Canelo. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it if you can. My gosh, it would mean the world to me. That would be the way I would make this fight. And I promise you, that's what Virgil Ortiz is looking at too. That's what Ortiz is looking at. The second I get out this contract, Canelo, I'm signing with you. With the premise you put me at the co-main event, and we make this fight with boots happen. Straight up. And let the chips fall where they may. That's what I think we're gonna see. And when we do, pandemonium. Pandemonium, and I can't wait. And you'll probably get more money. You'll probably get just as much money on a Canelo card backed by Turkey if you make that move. I guarantee you that's why he's trying to get out of it. And it's the best thing for him because Oscar De La Hoya been robbing fighters for opportunities blind. This is another situation. And now he's about to lose his best fighter. He brought it on himself. He brought this on himself. Oscar De La Hoya, yes he did. But we're going to talk more about that on tomorrow because we got to get out of here and end this show off with a bang. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. It's been a pleasure having a great show with all of you. I do apologize about how I went through the chats. I wasn't trying to avoid anybody. Simply was trying to make sure I read everybody's responses. I'm again working on a better flow to make it so I can catch all of you and discuss stuff with you in a proper manner so all of you can feel involved in the conversation. And we got some plans for this channel. Don't worry. We got some plans for how this channel is going to be and how we're going to go and make this thing great. Absolutely. But with all that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. And this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We appreciate all of you tuning in and being along for the ride. All of you who supported and gave to the show, it means the world to me. Hey, we still got Cash App and PayPal. Links down below in the description if you'd like to come and support the show, as well as with super chats, gifts, and stickers. All that stuff, if you would, means the world to me. Helps to invest into the show, helps us to support the show even more immensely. Thank you to everybody who gave to the show, like with Willie and any others. Also, thank you to everybody who chatted and responded and helped to make this show even better and greater. We got a whole thank you card coming up right here for all of you who came in and was involved in the conversation. Bravery, you came in too late, buddy. Yeah, buddy, you wasted time, buddy. Look at you. Now you're missing out. Look, I'm just messing. I'm just kidding. I joke with Bravery because we go way back. I've known him. Good dude, absolutely. Let me tell you, will you do a live show for the next boxing match? We plan on it. Trying to do a live show for Saturday for the Murtala fight. If not that, we're going to definitely do a live show, Lord willing, for the Shakur Stevenson, TEOFIMO Lopez fight. And so we're going to see how that goes. But either this Saturday or the 31st is when we're going to have our next fight live stream. But it's going to be great to see. Hopefully you tune into it. And it's going to be a phenomenal action, a phenomenal time. Can't wait for you to see it. But like I said, let me continue to think. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you everybody who listened. Please leave a like on the stream. Comment your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please keep on hitting the notification bell. Come on and join the Empire if you haven't already. And please keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know. Tell us what you liked or didn't like about the show in the chat section or in the comment section so I can take your feedback and keep on making this show better. Rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform imaginable. We're going to be back on Friday talking about the world of boxing and beyond. Oh, so much more. And hey, thank you all for tuning in and listening. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your Thursday afternoon. Enjoy your weekend to come. And hopefully you ended the day off strong. And hopefully I help make your day a little bit brighter. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We gonna see you all on Friday. Same time, same place, same channel. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace and love. We out of here.